And a good afternoon to you from a sunny and unseasonably warm Open Space Park for the end of October as the Dordt Defenders get set to take on the Jamestown Jimmies in Great Plains Athletic Conference football play. Coming up on our pregame show, we will check in with Coach Brian Mistro, the head coach of the Jamestown Jimmies, and we will also check in with Dordt head football coach Joel Penner as we get into the second to last home game of the season for the Dordt Defenders. And we tell you that this pregame show brought to you by Wireless World, your local Verizon authorized retailer with 7 locations in Northwest Iowa. You can visit them at wirelessworld.com. It's a great day for football. Light winds. What winds we do have are out of the south, and that is lending itself to the unseasonably warm temperatures here this afternoon. Let's take a 1-minute break. All of our breaks during our pregame show, guys back at the studio and in the truck, all of them will be 1-minute breaks here this afternoon. And when we're back, we'll be visiting with Coach Brian Mistro, Jamestown head football coach, right after this. As our pregame show continues, let's visit with Coach Brian Mistro of the Jamestown Jimmies, the head coach of the Jimmies, and Jamestown off to a 3-6 start, 9 games in. I guess we can't even call it a start any longer. 3-6 at this point of the season. You've got a pretty good sample size to work off of, Coach. You were 3-3 at one point. The last 3 games have been a little bit of a challenge, partly the scheduling. But where's your team at right now?
Well, you're right. I mean, we've got a good body of work to look at and assess our team and kind of what's going on. And, we won the first 2 games of the year in thrilling fashion at the last play of the game and stuff. And then we felt like we went down to Briarcliff and didn't play a complete game. We go up late at the end of the game and score a 2-point conversion with a minute left to go up 25-24 and give up 3 plays and 80 yards to lose the game. And so, you're like, oh, shoot, well, there's a win that could have been on the board after 3 plays. And then, Northwestern comes to town and they do what Northwestern did. And, we kind of understand that that's a good football team. But I think our kids battled and our kids fought and we gave them a better game than we have. And then we go play Midland and we had a chance to go up 17-7 in the fourth quarter with 8 minutes left and fumble the ball on the half-inch line. And you start looking at it and you're like, all right, man, 17-7 with 8 minutes left. That's a different momentum, confidence boost. And then we go ahead and throw a pick 6 and an interception on the next 2 drives and we're down 21-10. And so, you look at it from our perspective when we're going, hey, ifs and buts and coconuts, right? Like that don't matter. But holy cow, we're 4 or 5 plays from being, a 5-3 team. And so, or 5 and however you want to look at it. I remember what it looks like. But it's fun for us as coaches. Like, guys, we can show you the progression that you've made. But now we got to execute it and get it done on game day. And so that's the standpoint that, from my perspective, I'm going, all right, guys, like, we're a lot better than we have been in the past, but we got to continually execute and have the confidence that we know we're going to go out there and do it. And so, yeah, no, we had a great win on homecoming and it hadn't ever beat Doane before and beat them, whatever it was, 41-17. And it's been a fun year so far. I just would like to see a little bit more wins in the wins column.
Last week you played Hastings. You were right there with Hastings, and you describe it, and I take a look at the stats, Coach. You get 370 total yards of offense. Your defense must have played well against Hastings, limiting them to 277 yards. That's another one, it appears at least, where you say, man, just a play here and there, you're right in that ball game.
Yeah, no, you're 100% correct. And I can point to two of them. One's a kickoff return for a touchdown when you go within a score. And it's great for our guys from a learning standpoint, but man, it don't make you feel good. And so, yeah, you're right. Might have had touchdowns on, but I'm assuming they could say the same thing. And so, but when you look at a big play, like, all right, you go up, you score at 16-10 now, you're within one score, and then you give up a kickoff return for a touchdown. Like, come on, man. And so, no, like it's one of those things where like we're there. But I'm tired of staying. We're there. I want to be there. And I think that presents a huge challenge this week with the defenders, who obviously have had the better hand on us since I've been here. And so it's a matter of making sure that we do everything we need to do to put our guys in the best position to keep continuing to give themselves a chance to win football games in the fourth quarter.
Cade Torgerson has thrown 376 passes for you this year, and no one else has more than 6 pass attempts for you. Obviously, he is your signal caller of choice. Tell me about the season that Cade has had in completing 56% of his passes.
Yeah, we throw the ball a lot, and so it's just a matter of making sure that some of the stats and things are great, but we want to play a more efficient football game too. And having the run game be a little bit bigger than it has been in the past. But Cade's been our guy for the last couple of years, and he's earned that. And, he's a leader on the offensive side. We just got to make sure that we hone him in. And sometimes he gets a little happy back there and wants to make every big play, and you don't have to. Sometimes you got to just take what the defense gives you. And so he's just been a rock solid kid and a guy that I really respect. And, he was here when I got here. So he wasn't a guy that I recruited or our staff recruited or anything like that. He bought into what we were selling, and he became the guy that, was leading us on Saturdays. And so I love that kid to death, man. He's a rock star.
Defensively, you have, I look at the numbers, and Paul Vandal, 10 sacks for you. I haven't looked closely or too deep yet, but I'm imagining he's a defensive tackle, defensive end type. He's got 16.5 tackles for a loss. Tell me about him.
Well, he's a fourth-year kid, and for the first time in my tenure here, we have, guys that have gone through the program, and I think that that's something. When you start looking at our program and our team, for the last 2 or 3 years, we've been playing with a bunch of freshmen and sophomores, and now as we get into a more senior and junior team, those are guys that he's been doing this stuff all year. Now he's got more experience, or his whole career, but now he's just got more experience. I mean, I think the kid showed up at 220 pounds, and now he's 270. And it's like, well, that's because he's a fourth-year kid that's bought himself into the weight room and bought himself into the cafeteria. And now he's seen how the guys block him, and he's perfected some of his craft things that he likes. And, yeah, I wouldn't want to block him. I mean, he's a pretty good player. And obviously, when you play in the league that we play in and you still have 10 sacks, I think that's a testament to his ability, his talent, but also his hard work.
Something that I have learned is that punting isn't always such a bad thing, and it looks like you've got a pretty good one in Isaac Miles. It's oftentimes an overlooked part of the game, but he's averaging 44.1 yards per punt. He's got 19 that are punted inside the 20. That's a pretty good weapon to have on your special teams.
Yeah, you're right, man. You don't want to brag about your punter, do you? Right? Like that's something that, well, you're punting too much then, or anything like that. But what we look at it is, no, that's a field position deal all the way. And so even if you get backed up in your own end, if you got a guy that can boom 145, 50, 60 yards sometimes and flip the field, or vice versa, you start a game off and maybe things don't go the right way. You're at the 25, and then you got a kid that can punt that thing all the way to the other 25. Like that's some fun stuff. And so our coverage team's done a really good job of helping him out with that. But also a senior, a guy that's been doing this a long time, that's got some experience in putting away from guys and directional kicking and things like that, which, the more guys that you have more experience with, I think the better off you're going to be. So I think he's had a great career here. I'm hoping, he's been a first team guy for the last couple of years. I'm hoping he can be a guy that goes up for an All-American status at some point, because he's earned it.
We saw Concordia last week. Dordt did, and Concordia threw the ball, I believe, 68, 70 times. Are we going to see the same thing today from a Jamestown team, or are you a little more balanced than that?
We want to be more balanced than that. We watched that game, and it was more of I think Concordia just kind of said early in the game that we're not running the ball today. And because a lot of the stuff that it looked like, it wasn't necessarily attacking what the defenders were doing as much as this is what we're going to do today. And they did it to us too. I mean, the kid threw for 300-something, 90 yards versus us because we couldn't tackle and the guys were open. And we had a rough one. I don't think we got off the bus in Seward, but obviously, the defenders were able to get out a win there. And I don't think that you're going to see that today. But then again, I'm not going to sit here and tell our offensive coordinator not to take what's given to him. So, if that's what's being given to us because there's too many guys in the box or we're not able to get the run game going, then obviously that's what defenses want to do. They want to make you one-dimensional. So, I mean, it's good and bad to see that stuff. I mean, for me, if it's only really bad if you run the ball 100 times, because that means you're probably gaining 33 yards a carry, and now the game's just really bleeding slow, which I think that is what they kind of want to do to us.
Well, and that's going to be my next question is, okay, you talk about what you think might be the case for Jamestown on offense. What do you have to do defensively against Dordt?
You have to play sound football, and it's something that, they run option, yes, but there's also a lot of things that they do well as far as their counter game and their inside zone game. And let's be real, running power is a big deal. And then they have the ability to take the top off and get you falling asleep and throw the ball up to their guys. And so for us, if the Jimmies are playing well, that means that we're hopefully confusing them a little bit on some of the reads, and hopefully we're making plays down the field when they do take their shots.
That's Coach Brian Mistro, head football coach of the Jamestown Jimmies. More on our pregame show right after this 1-minute break. Dordt football coach Joel Penner joins us for the pregame show as the defenders get set for Jamestown. And last week it was Concordia ended up throwing the ball around a lot. Coach Penner, we expected a fair amount, but they completely abandoned the run by the time the day was over. I take a look at the Jamestown stats, and it appears that they may have a similar offensive approach to the Concordia Bulldogs. That's what's on paper. What can you tell me about this Jamestown team?
Well, they're much improved. They've been is this their fourth year in the conference?
Fifth. This is
fifth already.
season.
Okay,
Yep.
so I think they're in a better football conference than they used to be, and I think these first couple years, as we can resonate with here at Dordt, like you just got to learn how to compete in this league, and that's what I see when I look at Jamestown. They're learning how to compete in this league, and they're coaching well, and they're recruiting better, and they've upgraded facilities up there, and I just think they're on their way. They show progress, and they were our last game last year, and it was a large margin win for us, and obviously we'd love to keep that trend going, but I see this team much improved, and so we're getting ready for a good battle.
Tell me about the Jamestown Jimmies when they're on defense. What will they try to take away? What are their strengths when you, as an offensive coach, look at what challenges they will present?
Yeah, I think their front seven is, it's a really solid front, and they play an odd front now, which means there's 3 down linemen, and they're going to cover up our nose guard and play 2 defensive ends over the tackle, and these are good football players. I think they're guys that are very competent and anchor in the gaps well, and then a lot of edge pressure, which means their outside backers are adding that 4th defender that way, sometimes 5th defender to the box, and so we're anticipating every week. It's been interesting because I've basically told our offensive players, like, hey, we're going to prepare you for what we've seen on film, but it doesn't mean that's what we're going to see. And the majority of our GPAC games this year, we've faced a defense that we did not prepare for, and people are reinventing. I don't think reinventing is the right word, but they're tweaking their structure to handle what we're doing, and I think scheming very well.
So how do you handle that as the coach, that you've got to make the adjustments during the game? Take me through that process. Are people up in the box saying we're seeing this and relaying that information to you? How do you actually make those adjustments during the game, or did some of them have to wait till halftime when you get back into the locker room?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what it used to be. It used to be we would scheme and plan for what we saw on film, and then I would say we pigeonholed ourselves on game day because we'd have to draw things out of our playbook that maybe haven't been even run in a week or two or three or sometimes a month from that time. And so what we've done now is we've just said, no, we have a system, where we want to have our system ready, and then within our system, we're going to be able to go to the next thing. If you take this, then we go to this. And if you take this, we go to this. And so we do not have the perspective of waiting till halftime. Really, for me, it's an opening script. Anymore, my opening script is a exploratory type of a learning thing. And I'm not pleased with how our opening scripts have gone this year. We've not been real productive. We've punted a lot on our first drive. I think part of that is, okay, let's get the guys on the sideline and we'll make our adjustment. We've done better on series 2, 3, and 4 because of that, but we can't wait for halftime right now because our margins for victory are not as significant.
Let's get back to the Jamestown Jimmies. Brandon McCormick, the defensive coach for you. What is he seeing from this Jamestown team? I see a lot of pass attempts. I see that they're producing most of their yards, and I see an experienced quarterback. What is the strength of their passing game, I guess? Yeah,
it starts with quarterback, without a doubt. A lot of respect for the southpaw. He's a guy who's been in a lot of GPAC battles, and I think he can sling the ball all over the field. There's not a passing zone that he's afraid to attack, and then he's got competent receivers to get the ball to. So, like any passing team, you have to weigh the risk reward strategy when it comes to pressure. Do we send 5 or 6 and hope we get to them before we can get the ball off, or do we play 8 in coverage or 7 in coverage and hope that we can cover well? And I think for us, it's not one or the other. It's both. Fortunately this year, what's been really good is we're getting pressure with 4, and which means we're still sound in pretty much all coverages, zone or man. And so really pleased with our D-line play this year. I think it's probably the highlight of our football team.
Yeah, the defensive line, and you put a lot of pressure on them last week in terms of, for the most of the game, you did only send 3 or 4. There were some situations late in the contest where you sent that extra pass rusher, but you put a lot of pressure on those guys last week to be productive. Now, the sack totals weren't there, but I felt like they didn't let Concordia's quarterback get completely comfortable where he was at.
Well, I think Concordia does a really good job of getting the ball out quick. And so that's another factor that you look at when you're making your risk-reward decision on sending pressure is, well, what's the average time from snap to throw for this offense? And so, yeah, those are things you look at. And Jamestown is just, they're a really good passing system. Like, we're a passing system on offense. We have our system. They have their system too, which is equipped to get the ball out quick, equipped to keep more guys in protection and hold the ball longer. They just do a good job of that.
What do you have to do? What do you have to do better this week than you did last week? What are those things that we look at and say, okay, what were the things that you came away from last week saying we need to get better at over the next 3 weeks?
So offensively, we took 8 deep shots last week. All right, and that was intentional. We connected on 2 of them. We got a PI call on 2 others, which is also a win in my book. And so I want to keep doing that, but we have to connect at a higher percentage and a higher rate than we did last week. And so offensively, I think figuring out how to run the ball, which defense are we going to see? Only Jamestown knows right now. We'll be ready for whatever, and we'll get our run game to comply with that. But we need to have a efficient down the field passing game. And then on defense, it's just managing the very competent passing attack that they have. Whether that's pressure, whether that's coverage, that risk reward I was talking about. We just have to do a good job managing that. If they're going to score, they need to work for it. There's no cheap ones. Last year they scored one on us. I think it was a reverse pass, if I remember right. nothing cheap. We just can't give up any explosives like that.
That's Coach Joel Penner on our pregame show. We'll be back with more right after this.
Some people say life is just a series of events, a long line of happy accidents, just falling into place. But we see it a little differently here at Dordt. We work hard to bring out the best in you. We push you to strive for the bright future God has planned for you. Now is the time to bring your passion to life here at Dordt. Be part of something special.
Hi, I'm Quentin Olson. I'm from Homeland, Wisconsin, and my favorite thing about the Dordt Media Network is that all the productions are student-ran. With little guidance, we get to do everything you see on the screen by ourselves. I'd like to shout out my friends and family back home. Thanks for watching the Dordt Media Network.
My name is Sean Solano. I'm a junior here at Dordt, and I'm from Managua, Nicaragua. I love working for the Dordt Media Network because the people I get to work with, learning the amazing camera operating system, and being able to watch all the games, especially a great way to spend my Fridays and Saturdays. Thanks for watching the Dordt Media Network.
Well, we have heard from both the Dordt head football coach and we have heard from Brian Mistro, and we are set for football here at Open Space Park in Sioux Center, and making sure that my sidekick, Kyle, can you hear all right? You want?
Yep.
I'm a little too loud.
You're a little loud.
I'm over driving.
Right there.
Okay. That's
We're
Kyle Achterhoff joining me for commentary once again here today. And we're going to have the national anthem here in just a moment. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go right up to the national anthem, and then we are going to get to the rest of our pregame show. But right now we're going to take a break for our national anthem. Let's take a 2-minute timeout. We'll be back with more from Open Space Park in 2 minutes.
Experience-based,
relational,
inclusive. It's not just criminal justice, it's criminal justice through like the Christian perspective.
critical thinking, more than just criminal justice.
Applicable to all aspects of your life. You get the Christian aspect and how that looks in the real world and how to deal with difficult people, but then you also get how to help these people and help them get back up on their feet.
Real world.
Realistic.
Involved. You get the hands-on experience where we get to go on field trips. I really enjoyed going to Sioux City for the training simulator. And it was also a good time going to Chick-fil-A after, so.
Today's Dordt Media Network live stream broadcast is produced by the students of Dordt University and sponsored by Sioux Center Health Therapy, partnering with Dordt University to provide quality care to all athletes. Sioux Center Health Therapy. And today's live stream broadcast brought to you by Verhoof Automotive. Verhoof Automotive in Sioux Center is your local Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chevrolet, and Buick dealer. Verhoof Automotive, worth the drive from anywhere.
Taken care of, and we are just about set for football, and Kyle Achterhoff joins me once again. And Kyle went down to Concordia last week, watched the Dordt defenders face a Concordia Bulldog team that likes to throw the ball a fair amount, and came away with a 1-point win. And sometimes you've just got to be happy and come home and say you survived one on the road, and it felt like Saturday was one of those days.
Yeah, especially in a conference like the GPAC. Some places are just tough to play, and I've always felt like Concordia and playing in Seward, they have a great atmosphere, great home atmosphere, much like what we have here at Dordt University. They do a great job. The players are always well prepared. They abandon the run early to throw a lot to try to get an advantage, and probably kept it a little closer than what Coach Penner would have liked. But again, like you said, come away with the win is huge.
Showed some resiliency, got down 28-20 in that ball game. That was early in the fourth quarter, and I was thinking it might not happen today, and then missed on a 2-point conversion that it was the right play call, just didn't get it executed quite correctly. You're down 2. And you haven't done much in the way of stopping the other team defensively most of the second half. Got some stops, got a score, and then got another 2 stops to close the game. A resilient win.
Exactly. The defense stepped up really when they needed to at the end of the ball game, forcing, like you said, some 3-and-outs, doing a lot of good things late in the ball game to preserve the win. And that's what you have to build on, right? Just a total team victory. Offense came through with some late drives, put some points on the board to take care of that 8-point deficit, and defense went out there and made stops when they needed to get the win.
Here this afternoon, facing a Jamestown team that everyone I've talked to says they're improved. Last year we played them on a rainy, cold day. It was not conducive to passing. It got away from them. They insisted on continuing to pass, and it turned into a long day for them. I expect a far different type team than we saw at the end of the year last year down at Jamestown.
Yeah, exactly. They are much improved. They're very competitive in the GPAC. They've been in ball games. They have some wins. Having 3 wins so far on the year. That's an improvement for them, and they're playing better as a team. You can see that the coaching staff there, now that they've been there 3 or 4 years, they're starting to get their system in place. And, they're playing better ball. And this is a dangerous football team because they have an experienced quarterback.
Very dangerous team, a left-handed quarterback, Cade Torgerson, who we will see as the day goes along, and we expect him to sling it. They say that he's pretty fearless. He'll take some chances, and that is reflected in some of the stats that we'll be telling you about. But as it is, we are set for football to begin. Dordt will be without Ethan Thomas today. They have their return men back deep. Back to return for the defenders will be Chase Tompkins and Abe Stace. And the kickoff to the sideline, and it bounces out of bounds, and Dordt will start with great field position at their own 35-yard line. First down and 10 for the defenders. Moving into the wind to start this afternoon's contest. It'll be first and 10 at their own 35-yard line. Wind out of the south. Temperatures, 60 degrees or so. I know they're talking about mid-60s by the time the day is over, and you get into the later days of October, the days start getting shorter and a little cooler normally, but a great day for Defender Day football here at Open Space Park.
Yeah, I really can't get any better than this today, Mike.
Cade McDaniel will be quarterbacking for the Defenders. Looks like Brendan Piper is in the backfield with him. They fake the handoff. They're going to roll right with McDaniel. McDaniel slings it over to Eli Bolden, and Bolden with a 10-yard pickup on the play. And the Dordt defenders with a first down on their first play from scrimmage. Last week I said that was easily the best game that Eli Bolden had played for the defenders this season. Hopefully that is a precursor of things to come over the final 3 weeks of the regular season.
Yeah, and a good start today. First ball thrown his way, comes up with a great catch for a first down.
First down and 10 for the defenders at their own 45-yard line. McDaniel checks to the right, fakes the handoff. He's going to run option, has Welland to his left. He's going to keep it himself. There he goes. McDaniel to the 40, 30, 35, 25, and he is forced out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Jaden Heisman and Eli Bolden downfield blocking and probably giving another 10 yards or so on the back end of that run. And for the Dordt defenders, a 30-yard gain on the play for Cade McDaniel. First and 10 for the defenders in Jamestown territory. Handoff to Piper. Piper, the ball carrier. Piper won't go down, and he's finally dragged down after a 9-yard pickup on the play. Hard piece of running for Brendan Piper.
Yeah, nice mix here to start. I know Coach Penner talked a little bit about his opening series play call throughout the year and not a lot of consistency. Here we're starting off with a pass, an outside run, and now an inside run. Great start.
Cade McDaniel back to pass. Passes in the flat to Tompkins. Tompkins going to be stopped. No gain on the play. Struggles to get back to the line of scrimmage. That will bring up third down and 1. 3rd and 1 for the defenders, and that's a case where the playbook wide open. Take a chance. Now you're facing a very manageable 3rd down and 1.
Yeah, you get it to your athlete in space and see what they can do, knowing that worst case scenario, you're sitting in a 3rd and short here with a chance to pick up a 1st down either on this play or the following.
McDaniel in the pistol, has Piper behind him, and we have a flag on the play, and that likely is going to be against the offense, and that's going to turn a 3rd and 1 into a 3rd and 6, and now you got to think about it, potentially 4-down territory. Field goal here would be kicking into the wind, so I would imagine the Dordt defenders 3rd down and 6. Obviously, you'd love to pick it up here, but might have to think about it in terms of 2 downs.
Right, yeah. It's hard to tell. Didn't see a lot of the pregame kicking going on, but like you mentioned, into the wind. Right now we're sitting at upper 30, 36, 37-yard kick.
They motion Piper out of the backfield. McDaniel pass over the middle. Flag on the play, and did we have a lineman downfield? Pass was completed to Large near the original, back to where the about a 5-yard pickup on the play, but a flag came out. And we'll wait for the indication from the official. And still waiting.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see if we can get a preliminary signal at least.
Yeah, well, it's going to be against Dordt. It's going to be a 5-yard penalty. I don't know if we had a man downfield. Well, no. Illegal formation. Yeah. 5 men in the backfield. So an illegal formation called against the Dordt defenders. They say 5 men in the backfield, and now that 3rd and 1 has turned into a 3rd and 10. And the defenders back at the 26-yard line. They need the 15-yard line for a 1st down.
Yeah, that was probably one of those situations where there was some miscommunication with some receivers. Somebody was supposed to be on the line of scrimmage, but wasn't.
3rd down and 11. McDaniel's going to run options, spins, and he's going to be brought down. A loss of 2 on the play. It's going to set up 4th down and 13. 4th down and 13. The defenders squarely in no man's land. They are at the 28-yard line. This would be a 45-yard field goal attempt into the wind, and they're going to keep the offense on the field. They're facing 4th down and 13 at the Jamestown 28-yard line.
Yeah, and even with that play call, you assume that Coach Penner was planning on going for it on 4th down. I'm sure he'd much rather be in a 4th and medium situation.
4th down and 13. McDaniel plants. He's going to run for it, and he's brought down at the 25-yard line. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that is it. And it'll be 1st down for the Jamestown Jimmies. So a drive that began with great promise ends on a turnover on downs, and the Jamestown Jimmies will send their offense onto the field, and their defense has to feel like they dodged a bullet there early on.
Yeah, and for Dordt's offense, hey, they got to be thinking, that was a self-induced stop of a drive, right? Because they had good things going in a 3rd and short, and end up having to go backwards on 2 penalties and put their offense in a tough situation.
Cade Torgerson with it, 1st down and 10. The left-hander hands it off, and not much there for the running back, and immediately stopped. Abe Stace there along with Bryce Christian. It's going to be a loss of 1 on the play. It's going to set up 2nd down and 11, and this Dordt defense has done a pretty good job against the run so far this season.
Yeah, and like Coach Penner said, it starts with those 4 guys up front. Been playing really well in the defensive line, both against the run and with pass rush, so hopefully we can get a good pass rush out of them as well today.
Cade Torgerson, a senior quarterback, 18 touchdowns this season, 10 interceptions. He's not afraid to throw it downfield. Inside handoff, and not much there again for Zach Hammett. Gain of a couple on the play. It's going to set up 3rd down and long, and I am surprised Jamestown hasn't gone to the air up to this point. Now they're in an obvious passing situation.
Yeah, and it might be a deal where, Coach just trying to get something established in the run game, hoping that will open things up on the backside and they can start putting the ball in the air. But now on a 3rd and long, they'll be throwing the ball here.
Torgerson motions a man out of the backfield. Back to pass under pressure, and he is brought down. Gall and Colton Vanderberg on the quarterback sack, and Torgerson He was looking to his right and just couldn't find anybody that was open. And Jordan Gall, or it was Colton Vanderberg actually from the edge, he came in almost untouched.
Yeah, really good pass rush by both defensive ends. Good pressure in the backfield. Really nowhere for Torgerson to run if he would have wanted to. And good coverage in the secondary. A nice coverage sack there.
Jordan Gall in on the sack along with Colton Vanderberg. Vanderberg had to bring his total to 6 sacks for the season. Tompkins takes it at his own 30 to the 35, gets away from a tackler to the 40 to the 41-yard line. It'll be first down and 10 for the defenders at their own 41-yard line. So Dordt with it, first down and 10, and the defense comes up with a stop right away. Got to gain some confidence there, I would imagine.
For sure. That's a great way to start for the defense, and really both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, started their drives really well. Now we just need to put it together for an entire drive here for the offense.
9:56 left to play in the first quarter. And the defenders with their offense on the field. Second possession for the defenders. First and 10 at their own 41-yard line. Cade McDaniel has the running back behind him. That's Piper. Has Wellen in the backfield along with him. Hands it off to Piper. Piper breaks a tackle, spins and falls forward to the 46-yard line. Ends up gaining 7. They give him a generous spot out to the 47-yard line as he rolled off of a defensive player for Jamestown and came to rest at the 47-yard line. Second down and 4 for the defenders at their own 47-yard line. McDaniel, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, turns, hands, gives to Piper. Piper, the ball carrier. Piper at the 48-yard line of Jamestown picks up a first down, and Brendan Piper in between the tackles getting something going for the Dordt defenders.
Yeah, and trying to get something established up front, just letting your big offensive linemen dictate the game here.
Handoff again to Piper. Piper, the ball carrier, and Piper picking up 4 or 5 yards on the play. And that'll set up second down and 5. And from our vantage point, my vantage point, it doesn't look like anything fancy, but sometimes the simplicity is in how the offensive line executes to get that big push up front.
Yeah, and this is not complicated. We're just manning up, getting a lot of push up front. Now we got a pulling off offensive lineman leading up for Piper on that play. Mixing up different blocking schemes up front, but basically running between the tackles and establishing that running game.
Third down and 3 coming for the defenders after a short gain on the play by Nick Wellen. So 3rd and 3, Dordt with it at the Jamestown 41-yard line. Love to keep this drive going if you're Dordt. Had their other drive stopped on downs. Handoff, and nothing there for Nick Wellen, and Wellen right there in the middle, and that's Paul Vandal. And Vandal has been wreaking havoc this season for Jamestown on defense. 16.5 tackles for loss. Right there's another one. And it looks like Dordt's going to leave the offense on the field facing 4th down and 4 here with 8 minutes left to play in the first quarter. So the defenders facing 4th down and 4 at the 42. They need the 38 for a first down. So 4th and 4 on the way. McDaniel, pass completed to Tompkins. Tompkins going to work to get up the sideline. He breaks the tackle. He's gone. 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown. Chase Tompkins. And Chase Tompkins has been cutting his teeth, if you will, on the special teams. And that time he scored a big touchdown last week against Concordia. And Tompkins breaks a tackle, slithers away. Looked like he was dead to rights right at the first down marker and gets away for the touchdown.
Right, and basically the same play that we saw on 2nd and short on the first drive, just getting the ball out in Tompkins' hands, let your athlete make a play, make somebody miss, break a tackle, took it to the distance.
Fulton Gunderson on to attempt the point after. It's good out of the hole to Blade Coons, and the Dordt defenders grab a 7-0 lead. 7-0 our score. Back with more from Open Space Park in 1 minute.
family, farm, business, community. People's Bank, where values matter.
Well, that's trouble.
Van Veldhuizen with the kickoff. It's misplayed initially. Now the return by Moe Montero. And he dodges a tackler, and he's going to be brought down finally at the 45-yard line. Pardon me, that was Isaiah Roebuck. Roebuck on the return for the Jimmies, and we've got a couple of Dordt players shaken up, and it might have been some friendly fire over there, over on the numbers at the 40. So we've got players shaken up, both of them for the Dordt defenders, as they were chasing down Isaiah Roebuck. Roebuck looked like he had misplayed the kick, and then picked it up at the 10-yard line and races, found a seam, and all the way up to the 40-yard line. So we have players shaken up. One of them, Van Veldhuizen, the kicker, he walks off of the field. He's hurting. He's walking off under his own power, though, at least. The other player for the defenders, and I can't make out who that is, down at the 40-yard line. And he's on the numbers on the far side, closest to the Jamestown bench area. And while he is attended to, we will tell you that today's broadcast brought to you by Wireless World, your local Verizon authorized retailer with 7 locations in Northwest Iowa. Visit them at wirelessworld.com. Obviously, with 2 Dordt players down, the initial thought is that they ran into each other in the pursuit of that return man. And right now, player being attended to.
Yeah, I think we're looking at a leg injury, so he's going to need some help getting off the field.
And trying to make out who that is. That's number 33 for the defenders. And through the course of the year, numbers get shuffled around, and I do not have number 33 listed on my trimmed down Dordt roster. And I'll take a closer look and see if I can. Things have gotten extended a little bit, but he's shaken up, at least putting a little bit of weight on that leg, but not a whole lot. And as the season goes along, rosters shift and change. And that player shaken up, I've got it as Jaden Sword from Lake City, Iowa, freshman from southern Calhoun County. So he's shaken up on the kick return. Jamestown with a football, and Abe Stace got a hand on him, and he twists and turns his way forward, close to a first down. That's Zach Hammett. Hammett with the carry. Hammett averaging 4.5 yards per carry. It is not that Jamestown is ineffective with their running. Their average per carry isn't bad, especially when you take away the sacks for Torgerson. It's just that they elect to oftentimes not run the ball a whole lot. 1st and 10 for the Jimmies now at the Dordt 32-yard line, trailing 7-0 with 6:53 left to play in the first quarter. Pass is complete down to the 20-yard line. That's a 12-yard pickup on the play. And the pass completed to Micah Madyon. So Madyon on the receiving end of that. 56 catches for him. He leads the Jimmies in receptions this year. 1st down and 10 now at the 23-yard line. Jamestown looking for the equalizer here in the first quarter. Zach Hammett in the backfield. Back to passes Torgerson. Torgerson looking, flush from the pocket, rolling left, throws back, and it's battered in the air and picked up by Jamestown, and falling at the goal line, short of the goal line, is Isaiah Roebuck. And it was Dordt doing everything but getting the interception on that play.
Yeah, and you really look at that one, Mike, and that's one Dordt's secondary needs to come up with. Torgerson does have a tendency to to let it fly sometimes into coverage, and he did there. And ball got bounced around and ended up in the Jamestown receiver's hands.
So Torgerson, first and goal to go. Handed off, Hammett. Hammett spins away from a tackler. Lucas Huttinga is there, and Hammett's going to be thrown for a loss. I'm curious where they'll give him forward progress.
That's very generous. I think they still have him inside the 5.
Yeah, they gave it to him, and they gave him forward progress at the 3, and he was far from wrapped up at the 3-yard line.
Yeah.
Here's the replay on that tipped pass that we're seeing, and yeah, Grant Hickson had a great chance at it, and behind him was Huttinga. Second down and goal to go at the 3 for Jamestown, trailing 7-0. 7-0. Torgerson, nobody in the backfield with him. 4 receivers set to the left. Torgerson's going to keep it himself, and Torgerson runs into the end zone. Touchdown, Jamestown, and Jamestown now kicking to tie the game with 5:14 left to play in the first quarter. So Jamestown, good field possession, and that seemed to change things entirely for the Jimmies. Played with a lot of confidence on that offensive series.
Exactly, and if you go back even to that kickoff by Dordt, ball gets dropped kind of deep. A lot of times the coverage guys let up just a little bit, and that gave Jamestown room to get a good return, good starting field position, just gave them confidence, and their offense took advantage.
Peterson on to attempt the point after try. Snap is down, and the kick is up, and the kick is just inside the right upright. And we are tied 7-7 with 5:14 left to play in the first quarter. Let's take another 1-minute break. You're listening to Dordt Football on KIHK and watching on the Dordt Media Network.
We understand how complex the financial landscape can be to navigate. Our goal is to free up your hands so that you can focus on what is most important in life.
Today's Dordt Media Network live stream broadcast is produced by the students of Dordt University.
And brought to you by Pizza Ranch, buffet, carry out, or delivery.
Kickoff taken by the defenders. No, that gets away from the return man for the defenders and bringing it up the field. And that's going to be trouble, and that is a short return for the defenders and Aiden Platone. Aiden Platone on the return. At least I think that's Platone. That's number 12. It's either Platone or Stace, and both wear number 12, and both spend time on special teams. So the Dordt defenders, moments ago, Jamestown tying it up 7-7. Now the defenders, poor field position to start, 1st and 10 at their own 5-yard line. McDaniel keeps it himself, and he is brought down at the 7-yard line. And gain of a couple on the play, maybe. That's going to set up 2nd down and long. And for the defenders, you don't want to do anything too risky back in your own territory here, but Jamestown against the run right now, they've shown that they've been able to stop it at times.
Yeah, they've been creeping their safeties closer and closer to the line of scrimmage to get them involved in the run game.
Handoff to Piper. Piper slips and falls as he goes to make a cut. Maybe picks up a yard on the play. It's going to be 3rd down and long for the defenders. So 7-7 our score, 4:28 remaining here in the first quarter. Dordt and Jamestown, Great Plains Athletic Conference football. Dordt looking at 3rd down and long. Tompkins back into the game for the defenders along with Eli Bolden. Connor Knopf is over on the far side of the field. Hayden Large. See if we can get him over the middle, that tight end. Cade McDaniel. Man in motion is Tompkins. Back to pass is McDaniel. McDaniel looking, flush from the pocket. He's in trouble, throws down the sideline and throws it away. Incomplete, and Dordt will be punting into the wind. 4th down from their own 8-yard line. So 4th down and long for the defenders at their own 8 with 3:53 remaining here in the first quarter. We're tied 7-7, and we see Blade Coons for the first time here this afternoon. Isaiah Roebuck back to return for Jamestown. And Rashawn Benners. And they're going to creep all the way up to the 45-yard line. And a kick into the wind takes a Jamestown bounce, and Dordt will down it at the 33-yard line. Ends up being a net of about 25 yards into the punt. Now the Dordt defense has to come up with a stop. Jamestown, great field position for the second time this afternoon to start a drive. And with 3:47 left to play in the first quarter, Jamestown with the ball tied up 7-7. Scores from the conference, early check-ins. Concordia leading Midland 10-0. And Mount Marty leading Doane 7-0. Those are early. We're tied 7-7. Torgerson back to pass. Left-hander flings it out and gets it away quickly. And not much you can do defensively there. Stephen Justice on the receiving end of that short pass. And Stephen Justice, 7-yard pickup on the play.
Yeah, Jamestown's really changed their philosophy from their first series where they went 3 and out. They're getting that out of Torgerson's hands quick, so a lot of quick pass game, what we sometimes call a 3-step drop. Short routes, but gaining positive yards.
They pitch it forward to the running back. And that's going to be a short gain on the play for the Jimmies. Carlos Julian on the end around, but the pitch is forward, so a short pass. And he ends up with a first down for the Jimmies. So Julian on the reception. Feels so strange always calling that a reception.
Yeah, I know it. It's cheap passing yards for the quarterback.
Torgerson split backfield. Back to pass to Torgerson. No. Hands out, pulls it. Torgerson keeps it himself. And that's where the defense needs to stay home. Hidalgo on the stop along with Jessup Leakey. That, if you overcommit there, that's a big play.
Yeah, it can really open up a seam inside for the quarterback on that. It's basically an option read, and the quarterback can pull it if he sees a lane inside. And he got positive yards. They're looking at a 2nd and 6 now.
2nd down and 6 after the 4-yard pickup for Cade Torgerson. Torgerson 6'2", 190 pounds. And Coach Brian Mistro said, you know, we didn't recruit him, but he's bought into everything that we do. And the ball comes out after Drew Dahm in on the tackle, but the ball comes out late after he was down. It's going to bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, if we can just force Jamestown into holding the ball in the backfield, get away from that quick pass game. We've been getting good pressure, and on that play, good pressure. Torgerson had to tuck the ball and run up inside, and got him for a loss.
Well, do your cornerbacks have to come up tighter on the receivers? Is that how you do that?
Yeah, we could just take away that quick pass game, force the quarterback to hold it for an extra second, and good things can happen.
Torgerson back to pass, flush from the pocket, throws it towards the sideline, incomplete. Looked like he panicked to me, Frankie Ingraldi, the intended receiver. And now Jamestown will kick for the lead. It'll be a 37-yard field goal attempt by Anand Patterson. Anand Peterson, his long this season, 40 yards. So this is well within his range with the wind at his back. He'll be kicking from the left hash mark. So Jamestown unable to move the ball, but they got great field position on the short punt into the wind. Peterson. Snap is down and the kick is up, and the kick looks like it splits the uprights. It did. And the Jimmies lead 10-7. So 10 unanswered points by Jamestown. And the Jamestown Jimmies now with a 3-point lead, 10-7. Let's take a break. We'll be back with more from Sioux Center in 1 minute.
The city's really reinvested a lot into outdoor space. We have very nice parks, new paths, new features along the bike path, new residential developments. They're just really nice places to move if you're a new family to town or to grow your family.
It's been great to find a community that feels like it has an energy and movement to it and feels like it's growing and doing well. And for us, we just feel like this is the place we want to be, where we want to call home.
Sioux Center, I just feel, has this momentum. They have wind in their sails. They have a unique group of leadership that's really a driving force here in town. And they're reinvesting into their community. They love their community. And you can see it's almost palpable, the energy that's in town.
Jamestown takes advantage of field position, get a field goal. It's 10-7. And the Dordt defenders will be receiving the kick. Taken at the 10-yard line and bobbled again at the 5, to the 10, to the 15, to the 20, to the 25. And the defenders with decent field position as they start this drive. First down and 10 at their own 24-yard line. Well, you said when we went to break you don't want to bobble it, but
right.
We did. Better outcome this time than the last, but the defenders with it first down and 10 now at their own 24-yard line.
And I do think our kick returners are looking into the sun on those kick returns, so that might be a little bit of a factor going on back there.
Cade McDaniel, the quarterback for the defenders. McDaniel back to pass. Dordt looking to throw. Pass is over the middle, complete to Bolden. Bolden spins away from a tackler, past the 40 down to the 35-yard line, and that's a Dordt first down. And you had indicated, Kyle, that you felt with Jamestown basically selling out to stop the run, there might be some things open in the pass game for the defenders on early downs.
Yeah, I love that play call by Coach Penner there. Jamestown safeties were getting very involved in the run, and just that one play, that should keep them a little bit more honest back there. And again, start off with the run play because of that successful first down pass play. Now we have a 5-yard gain on first down in the run game.
Yep, Brendan Piper with a 5-yard pickup on the play. It's second down and 5. There's less than a minute left to go in the first quarter. It's second down and 5 for the defenders in Jamestown territory at the 31-yard line. McDaniel turns, hands, gives to Piper. Piper, good push up front, even though at the line, it looks like he's at the line of scrimmage. The line of scrimmage actually moving 3 yards down the field. And the defenders facing now third down and 2. That might be the last play of the first quarter. Dordt hurries to the line of scrimmage. Third down and 2. They motion Piper out of the backfield. McDaniel keeps it himself to the 25, to the 20, and he's forced out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Clock stops as he goes out of bounds. Dordt will run one more play with 12 seconds remaining. Dordt going up tempo here, trying to keep the offense moving. And that'll be the end of the first quarter as the clock will wind out, and that's the end of the first quarter. Our score after one, Jamestown 10, Dordt 7. Let's take a 1-minute break, and we'll be back with Dordt trailing by 3, but threatening at the 20-yard line when we're back in 1 minute.
This Dordt Media Network student-produced live stream broadcast is brought to you by Joyner & Zwart Dentistry in Orange City, offering dentures, implants, and dental care for your whole family in a modern and friendly atmosphere.
And sponsored by Sioux Center Health Therapy, partnering with Dordt University to provide quality care to all athletes. Sioux Center Health Therapy.
As a bank that cares about supporting small businesses, American State Bank assisted hundreds of young entrepreneurs launch their first business. Starting a business can be complicated, even when it's just a lemonade stand. It's never too early to begin thinking towards your next project, and we'll be here to help make it go as smoothly as possible. Supporting entrepreneurs, no matter their age, it's what we do.
Well, the Dordt defenders surrendering a field goal on the last Jamestown possession, but now Dordt is threatening. Trailing 10-7, they've got it at the 20-yard line, and the Dordt offense has been able to move the football here this afternoon. Just you're dealing with some wind in terms of the battle for field position. The Dordt defenders with the football, handoff to Anthony Trojan. Trojan struggles forward, picks up a couple of yards on the plays inside the 20 down to the 17-yard line. And the defenders now facing second down and 7. Second and 7 for the defenders at the 17-yard line. McDaniel, your quarterback. Cade McDaniel, a sophomore from Gill, Colorado. He's going to run option to the right side, looking for a pitch man, and he's going to run out of room. He's going to angle over to the sideline. And Jamestown defended the option pretty well that time, matched up with every man, and didn't have anywhere to go.
Yeah, did a good job of stringing the play out and taking away the pitch man, and really nowhere for McDaniel to run. So, yeah, no gain on the play, and now we're in a 3rd and long situation, and hopefully we can make a play here on 3rd down.
3rd down and 7. Heisman over to the near side along. Well, over the left side, that's Tompkins over there. McDaniel running out of room, throws it away, incomplete. It's going to bring up 4th down. So 4th down and long, and the defenders will be forced to settle for a field goal, try to tie it. Line of scrimmage currently the 18, so this will be a 35-yard field goal attempt for Fulton Gunderson. Gunderson's long this year, 39 yards. He's kicking from the right hash mark. Blade Coons is the holder. Gunderson the kicker. Snap is down, kick is up, and the kick is through the uprights, and the Dordt defenders have tied it at 10-10. 10-10 our score. Dordt gets points. 13:54 left to play here in the first half. Back with more from Sioux Center in 1 minute.
Hi, I'm Derek Coops. I'm a senior.
Jordan Van Veldhuizen is kicking for the defenders, so that is good news. He was one of the 2 players shaken up on the last kickoff by the defenders. And a line drive kick, and that one through the end zone, and the Dordt defenders will send the defense out on the field. Jamestown with it, 1st down and 10 at their own 25-yard line. So Jamestown, well, we're deadlocked 10-10. I like what the defenders have done on offense, but some self-inflicted wounds, if you will, on a couple sets of downs. Really the difference between them getting a couple of touchdowns rather than a touchdown and a field goal.
Right, yeah. Offense, really, other than them hurting themselves with some penalties, they've moved the ball pretty well. And defense been playing pretty well. Jamestown, we finally have them backed up a little bit here to start a drive.
Cade Torgerson hands it off, and a 5-yard gain on the play. The running back is Hammett. Hammett picks up 5 on the play before he's brought down. Looked like he might be stopped back near the line of scrimmage. Kept working his way forward. Picks up 5 yards. It's 2nd down and 5 with 13:33 left to play here in the first half. Well, Dordt without Chip Casey again at cornerback, so that means we are rotating a couple of corners over on the near side. It's Aaron Van Hofwagen for this series. Torgerson empties the backfield, back to pass. The left-hander gets it out quickly, and the pass is complete to the 40, to the 45, and brought down at the 45-yard line. Lucas Huttinga on the tackle. Madian on the reception at the 45-yard line, and when Jamestown gets it out quickly, that's when they've had success.
Right, yeah. You know, even on that last series, the last play of the last series, Torgerson, his mental clock was ticking down, and he knew he had to get rid of it because of the pressure by the Dordt defensive line. We need to force him to hold the ball here a second longer.
4 down linemen for the defenders. Handoff, and not much there for Hammett, and that time Dordt tackles him, drives him backwards. They give him forward to progress to the line of scrimmage. And that'll set up 2nd down and 10. They're very generous with that forward progress today.
Yes,
at
I
least
guess.
it seems that way.
We're not biased at all.
No.
But I would agree with you. It seems like we had him in the backfield there.
2nd down and 10. Torgerson has Hammett behind him. 3 receivers to the near side. They hand it off to Hammett, and Hammett, nothing there. He is met in the hole by Bryce Christian. So Hammett, no gain on the play. It's going to be 3rd down and long. 3rd and long, and personnel changes now for the defenders. You'll see Drew Dahm and Tyler Wieringa come on. And a linebacker and a defensive end, a defensive tackle coming off. So Dordt will basically be playing with, I think, 6 defensive backs here. They do show some pressure up front, and we have a man coming up out of his stance. That was the right tackle.
I think we might have had a defensive player in the neutral zone, which caused the tackle, the offensive tackle, to move. So
I think that's Eric Gustafson. He's going to get called for that 5-yard penalty. So Eric, the sophomore, it's still 3rd and long, but it changes it from a 3rd and 9 to a 3rd and 4. And now the defenders have to stay with their personnel that they have on the field. So 3rd and 4 for the Jimmies at the Dordt 49-yard line. Torgerson, empty backfield, 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. And Torgerson up to the line of scrimmage. Tie game 10-10. Back to passes Torgerson. Torgerson's going to run for the 1st down, gives himself up at the 42-yard line, and that's a gain of 7 on the play. And it keeps the chains moving, and more Jamestown now with fresh set of downs with 11 minutes left to play in the 1st half.
Yeah, and that 5-yard penalty kind of freed up Torgerson to make that play. If we're sitting in 3rd and 10, he's probably less likely to take the ball and try to run for the 1st down. But on 3rd and 5, he was able to pick it up and keep their drive going.
So we have a timeout on the field, and we'll take a 30-second timeout on KIHK. And this timeout brought to you by Casey's Bakery. Find your favorite bakery products at caseysbakery.com. Also remind you that bringing you our pregame and postgames is Wireless World, your local Verizon authorized retailer with 7 locations in Northwest Iowa. Visit them at wirelessworld.com. First down and 10 for the Jimmies when we resume play here in Sioux Center. And Jamestown taking advantage of good field position early and now driving at the Dordt 42-yard line. Let's see if the Dordt defense can come up with a stop here. Get off of the field, unable to do so on 3rd and 4. And now it's 1st down and 10. Hand off to Julian. Julian, the ball carrier. Julian picks up 3 yards on the play. Picks up 2. They give him forward progress to the 40, and that's it. It'll be 2nd down and 8. 2nd and 8 on the way for the Jimmies. So 2nd and 8. Jimmies. Torgerson. Torgerson looks to the sideline. And Cade Torgerson has time. 15 seconds on the play clock. 2nd down and 8 at the Dordt 40. Has a running back in the backfield with him. He hands it off, and that running back picks up a 1st down. That's Hammett. Hammett down to the 25-yard line. And it's a gain of 15 on the play. And that's a 1st down for the Jimmies as they continue to work the ball down the field.
Yeah, and you heard in pregame they would like to be balanced, and you are definitely seeing it here so far this afternoon, mixing in a good amount of run plays along with the pass.
1st down and 10. I know a point of emphasis this week for the defenders as well was a case of they wanted to force some turnovers, try to get the ball back, take some takeaways. We've got movement at the line of scrimmage again, and I think they're going to say that a defensive player was in the neutral zone. And Colton Vandenberg is going to be called for offsides. First down and 5 for the Jimmies now at the Dordt 20-yard line.
Well, and you get that with a senior experienced quarterback. He's changing up the cadence. You know, and that forces the defensive line to adjust a little bit and how quickly they get off the ball. So I'm going to have to make sure we put a stop to these 5-yard penalties.
Changes things dramatically. First down and 5 now for the Jimmies. They fake the handoff, and Torgerson's going to be dropped in the backfield. And coming up to make the play is Dan Jungling. Jungling with a tackle for a 3-yard loss on the play. Sets up second down and 8. So Jungling, the safety, coming up and actually almost playing like a linebacker this afternoon against those against this Jamestown team that likes to throw the ball a little more. Now he's going to slide down into coverage on the near side. Torgerson facing second down and 8. Torgerson back to pass. Torgerson throws to the end zone. Hickson on the coverage, and the pass is in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. That's Isaiah Roebuck, I believe. That was the intended receiver, and looked like he had it for a touchdown, and then it came down, hit the ground, and the ball came out. Sets up third down and 8 with the clock stopped and 8:50 left to play in the first half.
Yeah, one of those didn't complete the process of the catch all the way to the ground. Ground caused it to come out there late, forcing Jamestown into a third and long situation.
Jamestown, third down and 8, swing pass near side, and that's going to be stopped short of the first down marker, well short, just a gain of 2 on the play. A lot of work for a 2-yard pickup on the play for Madian, and that'll bring up fourth down and decision time now for the Jimmies, and they're in the same situation Dordt was earlier. Dordt elected to go for it. Jamestown's going to try, it looks like a field goal into the wind. This will be a 38-yard field goal attempt.
Yeah, and going back to that last play by Jamestown, just a swing screen outside. Colton Vandenberg went a long ways to impact that play from lining up at defensive line position. Great job of running to the ball and being there when the receiver cut back.
Peterson, a 38-yard field goal attempt, and it is blocked. And the Dordt defenders will let it roll dead. And the defenders will get it first down and 10. Another blocked field goal by the Dordt special teams. And that is something I have noticed this year is special teams has impacted the game dramatically, especially in those situations.
Yeah, that was huge. And smart by the defense, by the secondary, not to try to pick it up. You touch it,
it's a live ball again.
It's a live ball again, so
you better have a pretty good plan, and you better have numbers.
Know. All you have to do is bring up the name Leon Lett
yep.
from Dallas Cowboys. Really cost them. Now the ball should be placed back at the original line of scrimmage.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was either the line of scrimmage or the 20.
And I think.
Well, they're sorting it out. And while they do that, we remind you that Wireless World brings you the pregame and postgame shows. They are your local Verizon authorized retailer. They've got 7 locations in Northwest Iowa. Visit them at wirelessworld.com. Well, certainly appears Dordt's going to have it first and 10 at their own 5-yard line.
Well, and yeah, it ends up basically being a scrimmage kick, right? So it's once the ball is blocked, it's very similar to a punt.
Yep.
So, yeah, you don't want to touch it and
so in effect,
turn the ball over.
It was down by Jamestown at the 5. Pass over the top, and we're going to have a flag on the play. Eli Bolden is held on the play with the ball in the air at the 45-yard line. And that'll give Dordt 15 yards up to the 20-yard line. And Coach Penner talked about that in the pregame show as well. He counts those where you draw pass interference. He counts those as being positive plays, even though you don't complete the pass.
Right, yeah. It's still 15-yard gain by the offense, basically. And you're forcing that Jamestown secondary to to play things straight up, to be honest, and not just overplay the run. So taking those deep shots is a plus. I think we're going to complete some of those yet today. So I think we'll see more of those, but you got to keep this Jamestown defense honest.
1st and 10 for the defenders. Handoff straight up the middle. Pickup of 5 on the play. Forward progress out to the 25-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 5. If that defensive back simply turns around and sees the ball as well, he probably doesn't get called for that. But watching the replay, he never turned and saw the ball.
Yeah, and that's what drew the penalty. It wasn't the fact that there was a lot of contact, but the fact that Bolden couldn't come back, couldn't play the ball because the defensive back wasn't doing that either. So he was just riding Bolden down the field, and that's where you're going to get the penalty.
Brendan Piper, a 3-yard pickup on the play, sets up 3rd down and 2 for the defenders at their own 28-yard line. Dordt wants to go tempo. 7:09 left to play, first half. We're tied 10-10. McDaniel turns, fakes the handoff, passes it over to Tompkins. Tompkins picks up a first down, still on his feet. And he's a slippery bugger. Gets away from a tackler and is brought down at the 40-yard line. And looked like 2 guys had him, and he somehow wiggles his way free.
Yeah, Tompkins, one of those players that Coach Penner is really excited about. He's going to have a great future here at Dordt University as a receiver. But also what you're seeing today is him deep on punt with Thomas out with the injury. You see Tompkins back there receiving punts and kick returns. He's just a guy that makes people miss and can make plays.
1st down and 10 for the defenders. Keeping it is McDaniel. McDaniel, 1-yard pickup on the play on the option. That's now 2nd down and 9 at the 41-yard line. Okay, that play, the option play, do you keep running it and hope that at some point the defense has a breakdown, or do you have to put that back in your back pocket and maybe come back to it later?
Yeah, it's one where, McDaniel held the ball for good reason there, but I think he'll eventually be able to get the ball out to the pitch man and maybe get a big play out of the run game.
Back to pass. McDaniel has a man open over the top and overshoots Eli Bolden. It's going to be 3rd down and 9. Pass falls incomplete, but I like the fact that we're taking some shots down the field, and Eli Bolden was in behind the defensive back. It's just overshot him by 5 to 10 yards.
Yeah, and threw a nice ball, but it probably sailed on him a little bit. Now that we have the wind at our back, he'll make that adjustment, be able to complete that ball sometime today.
3rd down and 9 for the defenders. Wellen is the running back. Wellen's the running back. McDaniel is the quarterback. Pistol set for the defenders. They're going to run option to the right side. McDaniel trying to turn the corner. Gets it out to Wellen. Wellen to the 50, to the 45, and that's a first down. And that's exactly what you were talking about. McDaniel had to take a hit at the end of it to get it out there, but he pitched it at the last second, and Wellen picks up the recipient of the big play.
Yeah, prior to that play, Jamestown's been doing a good job of what we call slow playing it, or making that read really difficult for McDaniel, and so he forced the issue there.
Okay.
Took the ball to the defensive player and was able to get it out on the pitch, and again, good positive yards, big first down play.
1st down and 10 for the defenders at the 45-yard line. Back to passes. McDaniel steps up. Pass is completed to Hayden Large. Large to the 30, to the 25, and we've got a penalty on the play as well.
I think we're going to have another 15 yards on this one, Mike.
That's going to be a roughing the passer call, and I believe that was Paul Vandal, who we highlighted earlier today, 6'2", 270-pound junior. Just a late hit, though, on Cade McDaniel, and it's going to be a 15-yarder at the end of the penalty, so you get the completion and then tack on a 15-yard penalty. Some of that comes from just simply keeping the pressure on offense.
Yeah, and definitely not a dirty hit in any way,
nope.
but he did get a little bit of a push late, and that's going to draw the penalty. In Jamestown's mind, they're thinking, hey, that's going to affect McDaniel down the road. I don't think so. He stood in there, made a nice throw to complete that pass. 1st and
10 at the 13. Handoff to Piper. No, McDaniel keeps it himself. He's to the 10, to the 5, angling in, and a flag on the play. We have a flag on the play at the 5-yard line.
Okay, is that one of those crackback type blocks? Because it seemed really late. Was it a receiver coming back and getting a shot right
That was a block
here? There it is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's just a matter of who it's going to be on. I think that might have been Jaden Heisman out there. 1st down, it was a touchdown, but It's going to be taken off of the board in all likelihood. This is going to be a penalty on the offense.
Yeah, it'll be a spot penalty, so we're not looking at a 1st and 20.
Yeah, that was Jaden got out there.
Offense number 6, 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Oh.
So Evan Jordahl got caught for a holding penalty.
Yeah, so the penalty we saw, we would have much rather had them call. But this one, at least we're in a 1st and 13 situation instead of a 1st and 20.
1st and 13, football at the 16-yard line. Dordt needs the 3 for a first down, so it's first down. McDaniel with it. Dordt has Heisman to the left on the back to passes. McDaniel
Bolden.
Rolling right, rolling, and throws it towards the end zone intended for Eli Bolden. Overshoots him. It's going to be second down.
Yeah, and I think if he'd had been able to set up earlier, Bolden was open a little bit earlier in the route on his initial break. But Jamestown does a good job of stringing that out and forcing the late throw.
5:07 left to play in the first half. Nick Wellen in from the sideline. Caden McDaniel is your quarterback for the defenders. Brendan Piper behind McDaniel in the pistol. Back to passes McDaniel. McDaniel throw over the middle is incomplete. It's tipped. Jaden Heisman, the intended receiver. Tipping the football. Jamestown's Bellingary, I believe. And that's going to set up third down now and 13. Football at the 16-yard line. And some self-inflicted wounds. We talked about it earlier by the defenders, and that cost them probably, could have been points on their first drive. Now let's see if they can get the job done here facing third down and 13. Back to passes McDaniel. McDaniel looking out on the flat, gets it completed over to Wellen. Wellen to the 11-yard line and thrown out of bounds there. So a gain of 5 on the play. It's going to set up 4th down and 8, and Dordt will settle for a field goal try. And Jamestown, they've got to feel like this is a victory in itself, just like Dordt did on their last possession when they forced a field goal attempt that they blocked. Fulton Gunderson on to attempt the point after, the field goal for the defenders here. This will be a 29-yard field goal attempt. Snap is down. Coons sets it. Kick is up. And the kick is good for Gunderson. Gunderson with a couple of field goals. And the Dordt defenders grab a 13-10 lead. 13-10 our score at Open Space Park in Sioux Center. Let's take a 1-minute break, and we'll be back with the kickoff right after this.
When you add up all the Wi-Fi connected devices in your home these days, you'll be surprised at how many there are and how much bandwidth they're using. Do the math. It just may add up to needing faster Wi-Fi. Premier Communications has you covered with reliable internet speeds up to 1 gig. Keep everything connected with Premier Communications. Visit us online at mypremieronline.com or call at 1-800-741-8351. Premier Communications. Looking ahead.
And Van Veldhuisen takes the suspense out of that. Kickoff through the end zone, and it's first down and 10 at the 25-yard line. How long until we just simply have teams starting at the 25-yard line rather than having that kickoff?
Well, I honestly don't think it's too far down the road, Mike. It's you take away that play. I hate to see that happen because I think special teams are a huge part of the game and it's an exciting part of the game. But I understand that particular play, the kickoff, kick return, is probably the most dangerous play of the game.
Keeping it is Torgerson. Torgerson picks up 4 yards on the play. It's going to be second down and 5. Second and 5 for the Jimmies. 4:15 remaining here in the first half. Jamestown's looking to steal a possession here. Get the last possession of the first half. get a score, get the ball back to start the second half. So let's see if Dordt can get a defensive stop and get the football back. Torgerson back to pass. Torgerson pass over the middle is complete. First down. Grant Hickson on the tackle, forcing the player out of bounds. That completion to Ryan Collins. And that'll bring up first down and 10 for the Jimmies with 3:49 left to play in the half. So Jamestown with it, first down and 10 at their own 38-yard line. Torgerson has a running back to his right. Two receivers to the right, one to the left. Hands it off, and not much there. Short gain on the play for Hammett. Hammett on the run. Christian on, that's McDonald on the tackle. It's going to set up second down and 8. Second and 8 for the Jimmies. Jimmies taking their time. 3:12 remaining in the first half.
Yeah, if we can put them in a third and long situation, I wouldn't be surprised to see Coach Penner use a timeout here.
Torgerson back to pass under pressure, and Vanderberg giving chase. Torgerson scrambling, and Torgerson's going to save us the timeout. He goes out of bounds.
Yeah, right at the line of scrimmage, I believe, Mike. So we're looking at a third and long situation.
Now this is similar to the situation we had earlier, and then Dordt had a penalty. Now it's third down and 8. Personnel changes. Wieringa on the field along with Gustafson. And the Dordt defense trying to come up with a stop. Third down and 8, trying to get off of the field. Cade Torgerson. Torgerson, your quarterback for the Jimmies. Dordt leading 13-10. 2:36 left to go in the half. Torgerson steps up in the pocket, and he is dropped. Quarterback sack for Tyler Wieringa. That's a loss of 5 on the play and fourth down.
Yeah, a great job by the linebacking crew, jumping the short routes, forcing Torgerson to hold the ball longer than he wanted to, allowing the defensive line, the pass rush, to get there for the sack.
Fourth down and long. The defenders will use a timeout. Let's take a 30-second break with KIHK. And this timeout is brought to you by Casey's Bakery. Find your favorite bakery products at caseysbakery.com. Today's broadcast also brought to you by Wireless World, your local Verizon authorized retailer with 7 locations in Northwest Iowa. Visit them at wirelessworld.com. Well, part of a very busy Defender Days. Hockey played last night, and the Defenders, the women's soccer team, just getting underway right now with Hastings. Men's soccer will play at 4:15 this afternoon, and volleyball is going to play Northwestern. That junior varsity contest beginning at 3:30. Varsity set to begin at about 5 o'clock. So Jamestown punting. They'll punt into the wind. And a line drive taken by Tompkins at the 27-yard line, and he is forced out of bounds at the 30. And it'll be first down and 10 for the Defenders, actually at their own 29-yard line. A little bit of time to work with. 2 timeouts as well. 2:19 left to play in the half. Dordt with a football.
Yeah, and a good job by Tompkins even on that punt return to get to the ball.
Saved probably 20 to 30 yards.
Exactly. They directionally kicked that towards their own sidelines, hoping to get that ball on the ground and let it roll a ways, but fielded it, saved, like you mentioned, saved some positive yards.
Tompkins goes in motion, gets the pitch now, option play. Tompkins throws, it's underthrown, and the pass is incomplete. Tompkins had Connor Knopf open. Well, not much, but he underthrew him, and there's a reason they're running backs and wide receivers.
Right.
Underthrew Knopf. Knopf got his hands on it, and that was it. And that'll set up second down and 10, and the clock stops on the incomplete pass. 2:12 remaining in the half. Dordt leading 13-10. 13-10, McDaniel turns, hands. Gives it to Piper. Piper picks up 3 on the play, sets up third down and 7. 3rd and 7 for the Defenders at their own 32-yard line. So Knopf on the field along with Evan Jordahl. Large and Bolden on the far side of the field. Those are your receivers. Third down, clock running, 1:45 and counting, first half. McDaniel steps up in the pocket. Pass is complete to Large to the 41-yard line, and that's a Dordt first down.
I like that play call, Mike. Keep it simple. Just get one of your bigger pass receivers in Large downfield, turn around, right at the sticks, easy throw and catch to pick up a first down.
We have an official's timeout.
Please put 1:42 back on the game clock.
So they got to reset the game clock to 1:42. It had run down to 1:34 after Large went out of bounds. First down and 10 for the defenders at their own 41-yard line. Man in motion, Large. And pass complete. Tompkins near midfield and thrown out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Clock stops as he goes out of bounds, 1:36 remaining. So Dordt managing the clock here as well. They've got 2 timeouts. Thrown to the sideline. Tompkins thrown out of bounds at the end of that play. Knopf now to the near side. Also lining up in the slot over on the near side at the hash mark is Bolden. McDaniel keeps it himself. He's to the 45 and forced out of bounds there in a first down. Moves the sticks. And the defenders into Jamestown territory at the 42-yard line.
Yeah, good smart play to pick up as much yardage as he could get and get out of bounds to preserve some clock.
Sometimes you just simply have to take what's there and then the extra yards stopping the clock, that's a big deal right here.
You bet.
1:30 left to play in the half. Coming up at halftime, we'll recap some stats. We'll also have the dance team performance at halftime. Rolling right is McDaniel. McDaniel stops, plants, throws over the top, and overshoots his man, Eli Bolden. That'll set up second down and 10. Second down and 10 also coming up at halftime. We will have an interview with Alex Heisman. Alex stopping by earlier this week to talk about the recovery from his injury and what's ahead for him, a biology major at Dordt. He'll be graduating at semester. That comes up at halftime as well.
And we got a quarterback change. I think we have Rosenboom in here.
Yep.
Might have a special play called, something that he's practiced more throughout the week.
Zach Rosenboom's going to run option. Pitches, and they're going to say that was a forward pass, incomplete. And that's going to set up third down and 10. Third and 10, Rosenboom will check out of the ball game. McDaniel is back in. 1:19 remaining in the half. The defenders at the Jamestown 42-yard line leading 13-10. They need the 32 of Jamestown for a first down. Piper is the running back. Back to pass is McDaniel. McDaniel in trouble. Pass underneath, completed to Bolden. Bolden to the 30, to the 25, to the 22-yard line. And that is nearly a 20-yard gain on the play, and Bolden wide open on that play.
Yeah, and a great job by McDaniel hanging in there. He had some pressure right in his face, knew he was going to take a hit, but was able to find Bolden downfield.
There was nobody within 10 yards of him.
I think the defensive secondary were just so worried about the deep throw. They just kept settling deep, and Bolden came underneath.
1:11 left to play. First down and 10 for the defenders at the 22-yard line. McDaniel's going to run option and trying to get to the edge, and he is forced out of bounds at the 20-yard line. They say he was actually stopped inbound, so the clock continuing to move. Gain of 2. It'll be second down and 8.
Still a lot of time here, just under a minute.
Still have the 2 timeouts remaining as well. Handoff to Piper. Piper to the 15-yard line. Now you might use a timeout.
You bet.
Dordt will use a timeout here, so let's take a 1-minute break on KIHK. And this timeout is brought to you by Casey's Bakery. Find your favorite bakery products at caseysbakery.com. Back with more in a minute.
Hi, I'm Derek Coops. I'm a senior here. I'm from Sioux Center, Iowa, and I love working at the Dordt Media Network because it's a lot of fun working with everyone and watching all the sports games. Thanks for watching the Dordt Media Network.
Hi, I'm Nathan Sulaiman. I'm from Singapore, and one thing I love about the Dordt Media Network is that it is always a good time on the job. Shout out to my mom, my dad, my fiance, who's probably watching this. Thank you for watching the Dordt Media Network.
Hi, I'm Glory Wrights from Neosho, Missouri. I love working for Dordt Media Network because I get to work with an awesome crew of people and spend the weekends learning to push myself in camera work and directing. Thank you for watching the Dordt Media Network.
Third down and 3 for the defenders at the 15-yard line. 45 seconds remaining. Dordt has one timeout remaining. Rosenbaum in at quarterback. Rosenbaum keeps it himself, runs up the middle, picks up the first down. And the Dordt defenders with it down to the 7-yard line. First down and goal to go for the defenders. 39 seconds remaining. Clock stops on the converted first down. First down for the defenders, first and goal to go. McDaniel back in after Rosenbaum ran that play, designed quarterback run, and up the middle is Wellen. Wellen down inside the 5 with 22 seconds remaining, and I think Dordt just used their final timeout. You're stopped, middle of the field. You don't have enough time possibly to get up to the line of scrimmage and get the play you want, so it'll be second down and goal to go for the defenders when we resume play after this timeout. And we'll tell you, our listeners, that this timeout brought to you by Casey's Bakery. Find your favorite bakery products at caseysbakery.com, and we'll give them a freebie on KIHK this time around. So Ryan can't say that I never gave him anything. But
that's right. Well, I like the play on third down, Mike, when you make a quarterback change. Rosenbaum a little bit thicker, a little bit more physical of a runner, and more your inside the tackle type of player. Basically ran quarterback ISO, the old ISO play with your quarterback carrying the ball, pulling linemen, going up the hole, and picking up the first down. Knowing that the clock is going to stop in that situation on the gaining a first down, quick quarterback change. Defense probably on their heels, so you run another run play, knowing that you have that timeout in your pocket. And now we're in a situation where we're probably going to have to throw it here to get 2 run plays in. Could be kind of tough.
McDaniel, the quarterback. McDaniel's going to roll right. Throws against the grain, and sneaking in behind was Connor Knopf. I thought he overshot the intended receiver. I thought the intended receiver was Hayden Large, but Connor Knopf sneaks in behind and makes the grab.
Yeah, and I think Hayden Large is going across the field thinking, oh man, he just overthrew me by a mile, but he knew where he was going with the ball. Put it in a good spot. You have Knopf back there making the touchdown reception.
Put a little touch on it, gave Knopf a chance to get to it, and with 11 seconds left to go in the half, nice play by Coons. He had to catch that one back by his right shoulder and get it brought down, and Fulton Gunderson converts the point after, and the Dordt defenders now with a 20-10 lead. As we head towards halftime, we've still got 11 seconds left to play in this first half. Let's take a 30-second break, and we'll be back with the kickoff from Open Space Park in 30 seconds.
This Dordt Media Network student-produced live stream broadcast is brought to you by Joyner and Zwart Dentistry in Orange City, offering dentures, implants, and dental care for your whole family in a modern and friendly atmosphere.
And brought to you by Pizza Ranch, buffet, carry-out, or delivery.
The defenders make it 20-10. 10-point lead for Dordt, with 17 or 11 up on the clock. Looking into the sun, tough to see. Looks like it's 17.
17 there.
17 seconds left to go in the half. Clock will start if they touch the ball. Otherwise, well, if Jordan Van Veldhuizen does like he has the last 2 kicks, he'll kick it through the end zone, and Jamestown will start at their own 25-yard line. And Van Veldhuizen, a little more air under this one, forcing Jamestown to make the play. They're at the 5-yard line, to the 10, to the 15, to the 20, to the 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 40, and he could bring it all the way back, and he will. Four seconds left to go in the half, and the Jamestown Jimmies, a momentum-shifting kickoff, return for a touchdown. And now they've got a chance to go into the locker room feeling pretty good about themselves, having just given up a score. They get a return for a touchdown on the ensuing kickoff. And just a lane and...
Yeah, and I never want to assume to know what's in a kicker's head, and he probably just missed it by a smidge. He's put the last 2 well into the end zone, and I think if he was attempting to do that, I assume he was attempting to do that again, knowing that Jamestown was probably going to kneel it down to go to half. Didn't get all of it, and unfortunately they were able to take it back for a touchdown.
Parker Hager on the kick return, and the Jamestown Jimmies have taken the momentum that Dordt had built, and they've taken some of it away. It's 20-17 now. And Jamestown will be kicking off with 4 seconds remaining in the half. But they have now cut into the 10-point lead very quickly. They've made it 20-17, and they will have the football to start. They'll be receiving the kickoff to start the second half of play. So we're going to have a kickoff, and if Dordt fields it, it'll in all likelihood be the last play of the half. So Jamestown taking all that momentum. Dordt feeling pretty good about themselves. I was feeling pretty good about things. And
yeah, absolutely.
All of a sudden things just turn, and a kick return for a touchdown. And the Jimmies will be kicking off, trailing just 20-17.
Yeah, now they're kicking into the wind, so what's their strategy? Squib, possibly?
Short kick.
Very short.
Takes a bounce, and it goes out of bounds. And that'll be a penalty, but Dordt will be able to take it. Delay of game penalty. Dordt will take it at the 37-yard line. That's where it went out of bounds, and I would imagine Dordt will run one play, probably take a knee here and get to halftime leading 20-17.
Yeah, that or run the option and see if you can break one. Once you get into the secondary, you don't want to throw one deep. Jamestown has 5 guys playing deep, but this is where maybe you run the ball and get one of your better ball carriers out in the open field with guys trying to tackle them.
First down and 10 for the defenders. It's actually at the 42-yard line because you do get the 5-yard penalty after the ball went out of bounds. So it's either the 35 or it's a 5-yard penalty from where the ball went out of bounds. Dordt's going to throw it. Back to passes McDaniel. He's in trouble, and we've got a flag on the play as well.
Yeah, and I assume that's going to be a hold, and Jamestown's going to decline that, take this to the half.
20-17, Dordt leads at halftime, but we've had some pretty big momentum shifts here so far, and Jamestown is going to run off of the field, and that's going to do it for the first half of play. Our score, Dordt 20, Jamestown 17. Let's take a 30-second break, and we'll be back with more at halftime right after this 30-second timeout.
Today's Dordt Media Network live stream broadcast is produced by the students of Dordt University.
And today's broadcast sponsored by Ployne Publishing. Quality printing from design to delivery.
dance team, and those of you listening on KIHK, I will go through the scoring summary for the defenders so far and the Jamestown Jimmies as well. The defenders got on the board with a Cade McDaniel pass to Chase Tompkins for 42 yards, making it 7-0 with 7:37 left to play in the first quarter. Point after was good. Dordt led 7-0. Cade Torgerson ran for 3 yards to complete the Jamestown drive, tying it at 7-7, and then Jamestown took advantage of a relatively short field, and Anand Peterson kicked a field goal from 37 yards to make it 10-7. Dordt reestablished order with a pair of field goals, one of them from 36 yards, the other from 29 by Fulton Gunderson to make it 13-10. Cade McDaniel then completed a pass to Connor Knopf for 4 yards to make it 20-10 with 17 seconds left to go in the half, and that's when things went off the rails for the defenders. Jordan Van Veldhuizen with the kickoff. That was returned 60 yards. Returned 95 yards by Parker Hager to make it 20-17 after the point after. And the Dordt defenders lead at halftime 20-17. Dordt will be kicking off to start the second half here this afternoon. So the individual numbers, going to pull those up and take a look at those. And we've got the hard copy as well. The defenders today, 15 first downs to 9 for the Jimmies. 103 rushing yards for the defenders on 27 carries. 177 yards passing for 280 total, while Jamestown has been limited to 101 yards of total offense. 66 passing, 35 rushing. Stands to reason Jamestown, one of their scores coming on a kick return, and the other two coming after short fields to work with. For the defenders, Cade McDaniel, 11 carries, 47 yards. Brendan Piper, 11 carries, 41 yards. Cade McDaniel, 12 of 18 passing for 177 yards. And receiving for the defenders, Eli Bolden, 3 catches for 70 yards. Chase Tompkins, 4 catches for 70 yards. Those two with longs of 40 and 42 yards, respectively. For the Jimmies, Zach Hammett, 9 carries, 34 yards. Cade Torgerson, 7 of 9 passing, 66 yards. And he has completed 3 passes to Micah Madian for 26 total yards. Blade Coons, 1 punt for 26 yards. Isaac Miles with 2 punts for the Jimmies for 92 yards. So the defenders, you look at the numbers, and Kyle, and you'd say pretty good shape.
Yep, except for 2,
Yep.
right? 95-yard kick return for a touchdown, and a 48-yard kick return that set up Jamestown's first touchdown drive. Special teams are a third of the game, and how big is that? Both teams, you look at the kick returns that put Jamestown in great field position and a score. A punt return or a punt into the wind that gave Jamestown great field position. Comes down to special teams and how big those are. Flip side of that is, and you mentioned it, I think, when it happened, but great play by Coons on the hold on Dordt's last point after touchdown to make this a 3-point game now at the half.
We are at halftime, and I am not sure, do we have highlights for the first half, or do we want to take a break? And here's the highlights.
First touchdown pass. Getting the ball outside to Tompkins, breaking a tackle, and going straight up the sideline for a big touchdown play to start the scoring for Dordt University.
Chase Tompkins with that catch, and now Cade Torgerson with that 3-yard touchdown run, and that was when Jamestown had tied it at 7-7. That's one of the plays. Also, and here's the Long pass completion.
Yeah, this is where we threw it underneath Eli Bolden, picked up a vital first down on that last scoring drive by the defenders.
1 of 4 catches for Bolden in the first half. And McDaniel rolling right, and this is the touchdown pass, put just enough air under it. Connor Knopf was there. Hayden Large was cutting in front of him. And at the time, Dordt went up 20-10. They lead 20-17 now, and you're going to see that 95-yard kick return for a touchdown for the Jimmies, and that gives the Jimmies hope going into the second half. They'll be receiving the kickoff when we start the second half, and they're trailing 20-17. 2017 our score. We're at halftime. Let's take a 1-minute break, and when we're back, we'll check in with that interview that I had earlier with Alex Heisman. And let's take that 1-minute break and be back with more on our halftime right after this.
Today's broadcast is sponsored by Northside Body Shop. When you expect the very best in the repair of your vehicle, call Northside Body Shop Limited today. Serving the Sioux Center area since 1955. 712-722-2313.
We are going to check in with, what do we call you, senior offensive tackle? Do we call you a fifth-year offensive tackle? What do we call you, Alex?
You can just call me a senior. That's what I tell people. It's less complicated.
Senior offensive tackle Alex Heisman, and he joins us. And this is the week after coming back from a knee injury. Hurt your knee back against Doane. What is that, 3-4 weeks ago already?
I think 4.
4 weeks ago. Didn't play much. Obviously didn't do much conditioning or anything like that because of that, but you were able to play against Concordia. How you feeling this week?
I'm feeling pretty good. A little sore, obviously. It's been a while since I've gotten to play football, but it was just awesome to be able to play again.
When you were hurt against Doane, and we're going to get into some of the specifics, you got hurt against Doane. You had to await news of what the injury actually was, and if you're I almost automatically think worst case scenario. Unfortunately, that's built into my personality. Where was your mind after the Doane contest in terms of knowing that you had a knee injury and knowing what the injury could be? Where was your mind at that point?
From the moment I got hurt to the moment I heard Dr. Kuhline on the sideline tell me that he thought it was an ACL, my mind immediately went to worst case scenario. I heard the pop on the field, and I just kind of accepted the area I was put into and accepted the new role I was given. It honestly feels like a miracle that it wasn't an ACL, but it's just taking things step by step, accepting your roles and dominating those roles.
When you got the word that it wasn't the ACL, the worst case scenario, was it like a new lease? I don't want to say this lightly, but a new lease on your football life, at least, be able to have an opportunity to finish your football career on the field?
Yeah, it honestly felt like a miracle. I just as far as what I did, I felt it as a shift in roles. I went from strictly coaching to coaching while training to get back to the field. And it was a process. It took much shorter than it should have, which is wonderful. And I'm just so excited to be back on the field.
Okay, I sit across the table from you, and you seem like this pretty mild-mannered person. You don't become an All-American offensive tackle by being a mild-mannered person on the field. What Are there two personalities in there, Alex? Explain that to me a little bit. How can you have success on the field in a violent sport, and then be able to go into regular life and it just be, I'm just Alex Heisman, biology major?
I think the other linemen would testify to this, that I'm not actually an incredibly violent, aggressive person on the field. I just love the sport. I love competing. My favorite days are when I'm competing against guys who are incredibly physical, because that's just an athletic confrontation. We get done, I'll pick them up, we'll shake hands, and we'll get ready for the next rep. Or I'll congratulate them if they place their hands on me in an effective way. It's just fun to play football. I'm not blocking for myself by any means. I'm not trying to prove that I'm an excellent athlete or anything like that. I'm blocking for Cade McDaniel, Anthony Trojan. I'm blocking so my brother can catch balls. It's never been about me.
When did you fall in love with the sport? First of all, take me back. When did you start playing, let's call it full contact football? Take flag football out of it. When did you start playing full contact football?
7th grade.
Did you like it right away?
Yeah, I did. I played center in 7th grade. I liked being able to touch the ball then. I didn't understand football at all. I really don't think I understood football until I got here to Dordt.
Okay. And what do you mean by that, understood football?
Well, when you play in 7th and 8th grade and then in high school, you kind of know just what your responsibility is as you're at your position. You don't really understand the X's and O's, the overall schematics of the play call. You don't understand the other side of the ball, and just all these nuances that you learn in college that really help you understand the game of football.
Do you enjoy film? Do you like that part of the game?
I do like that part of the game. I'm a pretty academic guy. I like to understand goals and outcomes. And it's just fun to see that in slow motion on film, seeing how simple things like not getting your hand to the upper left shoulder rather than the lower left hip can make such a huge difference.
What was the biggest adjustment, or what were some of the adjustments then moving from a pretty successful high school football program at Pella Christian to coming to Dordt? What were some of those adjustments you faced in terms of both football and school in general?
Well, the first most obvious adjustment is time management. In high school, you're given a set schedule. You go to your classes. You have, I think, 9 periods a day. And in college, you just have something at a maximum of like 3 classes in a lab a day. And then in all that other time, you're given, it's your responsibility to get what you need to get done. As far as for football itself, the biggest adjustment I had to go through immediately was not playing right away. And I've never really struggled with being out of a role, but it was an adjustment.
You also had a support system built in when you arrived here.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, your grandpa is Rick Vanderberg, longtime athletic director here at Dordt. He made the mistake of being involved in hiring me many, many years ago. But how has you had a relationship, obviously, with him and Grandma Lori before this, but now you're a young adult. What has it been like to have them be just 10 miles away, or in the case of Rick, be here on campus working on a semi-regular basis? What's that experience been like?
It's been spectacular. I feel like I've come to know my grandparents even more. It's an awesome opportunity to be able to see them every week. My extended family goes there about every Sunday. I've got a lot more family around here than just Rick Vanderberg. And it's just, to have family that close in a place away from home is just wonderful.
You're a biology major. What do you hope to do with that when you're finished here?
I hope to enter med school next year.
What does that process look like? I mean, walk me through what does it take to get into med school? And we've got a few minutes, but just in a nutshell, what does that process look like?
It takes a lot. You have to take a standardized test called the MCAT. Then after that, you have to submit a primary application through a centralized application website. And then you choose colleges you send it to, and then they'll send you back secondary applications. You'll fill those out. You wait. I'm currently in the waiting process.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be invited to interviews. You go to interviews, and then you wait again. And then hopefully you're selected, and as late as May.
Okay. So you could be in this holding pattern for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
You're graduating at semester, correct?
Yes.
What happens January to May is that waiting period potentially. What do you do in that? What do you do in those months?
I have a couple jobs back at home. I work as a CNA in Pella, Iowa for a local nursing home. I also work as a PCT in Des Moines Perioperative Services. I actually work with my mom there, which is it's fun.
Sure. You say med school. Any specific, what path do you want to take with med school? Some can be surgeons, general practitioners, specialists of some sort. What are you thinking?
Well, the generic secondary application answer I've given for that question is cardiology, but honestly, I'm willing to go wherever the Lord takes me.
Alex, it's been a pleasure. 3 weeks of the regular season left in terms of football, and have you stopped and paused and thought, this is it for football, or do you just get into the middle of it and one day at a time? How do you approach that?
It hasn't hit me that I only have 3 games left in my season. In my career,
right?
Not just season.
Yeah, you're not going to pick up and you're not going to play pickup football somewhere, are you?
No.
Yeah. So you haven't thought about it. Do you think you will over the next 3 weeks, or is it just bear down, finish well, and the finish will be when the finish is?
I think it's just going to be bear down, and the finish is when the finish is. I mean, I kind of had a small taste of what it feels like to be done with football earlier this year. And I feel like I had a pretty healthy perspective about it. It's just accepting the next thing that comes and dominating whatever roles you're given.
Good luck on that astronomy test later today.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're an academic and you enjoy those. But congratulations on a fantastic career thus far, Alex, and look forward to what the next years bring for you.
Thank you.
Today's Dordt Media Network live stream broadcast is produced by the students of Dordt University.
And today's broadcast sponsored by Ployne Publishing. Quality printing from design to delivery.
You are listening to KIHK and the Dordt Media Network. Every once in a while, the old call letters slip out, but KIHK and the Dordt Media Network, and glad that you're with us on this sunny afternoon around the conference. Scores look like this: Northwestern 42-0 over Briar Cliff, Morningside over Dakota Wesleyan 49-0. Mount Marty a 13-6 winner over Doane, and Dordt leading Jamestown 2017. Concordia and Midland are tied at 17-17, and that's an interesting one to watch as well, simply because Dordt has played Concordia already. Midland has a very stiff remaining schedule. I believe they've got Northwestern next week, and then Dordt the week after that, and they're still in the hunt for a conference for the third spot in the playoffs.
Right. They're one loss at this point, right, Mike?
Right.
So, yeah, they have a lot to play for, but, yeah, again, they haven't played probably the tougher top half of the conference type teams up till this point. So that game, is that in Fremont?
That's at Fremont, yeah.
So that's probably an advantage Midland, but good test for them this week.
The other one that I'm keeping an eye on, Mount Marty leading Doane 13-6. Doane, a team that stands 3-4 right now, and the Mount Marty Lancers 1-6, and they're a dangerous team. I always feel like Mount Marty is right there this year, but they have had some things happen in the second half of each of their games that have kind of taken them out of the running. So Van Veldhuizen kicking off, and Dordt is actually kicking into the wind to start the second half of play. And the Jimmies on the kick return and on the far sideline and forced out of bounds at the 40-yard line. And that'll be first down and 10 for the Jimmies at their own 40. And Isaiah Roebuck on the return. And Jamestown, good field position. Not great, but good field position back at about their own 40-yard line.
Yeah, and basically, you know, that's a Dordt decision, right, to kick going south. Basically, Coach Penner saying, I want the wind in the fourth quarter. Let's see what we can do to shorten this third quarter and get the wind at their back.
Defense on the field. Cade Torgerson, the quarterback, sends a man in motion. And Torgerson will keep it himself, and the turf monster got him. Loss of 3 on the play as he's tripped up. Closest man there, Abe Stace. And Abe will make the argument that he saw me coming and
scared him.
It's
getting close to Halloween time, and we got the pumpkin heads out there, and so we got
those are bright orange. Second down and 12. Loss of 2 on the play for Torgerson. In the backfield with him is Hammett. Dordt with 4-man front. Torgerson looking to the sideline. 9 seconds on the play clock. He's got plenty of time. 5. And snap, hands it off Hammett. Hammett the running back, and Hammett picks up 10, and he's got a first down. More than that, he's into Dordt territory at the 35-yard line, so a big gain by Hammett. Hammett gains nearly 37 yards on the play, 32 yards on the play, and a first down for the Jimmies. Jimmies not abandoning the run. They've stuck with it and had varying degrees of success on the ground here this afternoon.
Right, I think Hammett's making a case to his coaches that he should probably get the ball a little bit more. That was a nice run and a good hole inside caught by the Jamestown offensive line.
Jamestown staying on the ground with Hammett. Hammett the carry, and Hammett down to the 37-yard line. They are almost doing the exact reverse of Dordt. Dordt taking shots over the top to set up the run game. Jamestown, seeing that Dordt respecting the passing game, they're going to the run game a little more than we had thought.
Yeah, a little bit of the coaching chess match going on this afternoon out here between these two coaching staffs.
Cade Torgerson empties the backfield. It's second down and 10. So Torgerson sends Madian over to the far side. Torgerson flares it out, and it's incomplete, intended for Ryan Collins, and he had Collins open, just overshot him. And that's going to bring up third down, and I think Collins might have been looking back into the sun like we talked about earlier today for the Dordt kick returners. It looked like he didn't have a very good play on that ball.
Right, he didn't react a lot to the ball, so he's probably looking into the sun. And I think for Torgerson, yeah, he just had one that got away from him. He'd love to have that ball back, probably put it right on the number next time around.
Floating it, and we have a timeout on the field. I think Dordt a little late with the substitution, so they call for a timeout. So a timeout on the field, charged to the defenders. This timeout brought to you by Casey's Bakery. Find your favorite bakery products at caseysbakery.com. Back with more in a minute. Third down and 10 for the Jimmies at the Dordt 37-yard line. Dordt trying to get off of the field on this third down. Torgerson has the running back with him. That is Frankie Ingraldi. Pass underneath, and Tyler Wieringa staying at home, and Steven Justice the catch, but a 1-yard loss on the play, and that'll set up 4th down and 11, and in all likelihood, Jamestown's going to punt.
Yeah, so Wieringa knew his scouting report there, and he knew what was coming. Does a good job of staying inside and making the good open field tackle.
4th down and 11, Jamestown punting. Isaac Miles, he is on to punt. He's averaging 44.1 yards per punt. We'd take that here. That means it would be in the end zone, so he's trying to drop one inside the 20 here. He's got 19 that are inside the 20. They might take a delay of game penalty here to give him 5 more yards to work with.
Yeah, I've always been tempted when you're on the other side here to decline that. Right? You got to stay there and punt it.
So this is probably his sweet spot. He's averaging 44.1 yards per punt. He's at the 43-yard line. He's got the wind at his back. It's almost like a golfer trying to determine what he should use here. At the Dordt 43-yard line, Miles gets it and kicks it towards the right side, and he's going to drop it inside the 20, inside the 10, and it's inside the 5 before it's finally down by Parker Hager, and that played out about as perfectly as it could for the Jamestown Jimmies.
Yeah, those are the kind where you'd love for your returner to be able to sprint forward and field it, but there's a lot of times there's just too many bodies to run through and pass to even get to the ball. So it was virtually impossible to field that thing. And we have the Dordt offense backed up, and hopefully we can make some good positive plays here.
1st down and 10 for the defenders at their own 5-yard line. And rolling right will be McDaniel. He's going to run option. McDaniel trying to get to the corner, and it is fumbled. And it's covered by the defenders, but that's going to be a loss of 4 on the play. That's all the way back to the 1-yard line. Getting on top of it for the defenders is Connor Dodd. Dodd playing with that heavily bandaged right arm.
Yeah,
and they mark him down at the 2.
Yeah, fortunate to get back on the ball there. That's one of those where, you'd almost rather have a safety than Jamestown getting on the ball there inside the 5-yard line.
Handoff up the middle, and the defenders give it to Piper. Piper, the ball carrier. Piper picks up 5 on the play. Back to the original line of scrimmage and actually out to the 9-yard line. Beg your pardon, Anthony Trojan on that carry. That's 22 rather than 32. Anthony Trojan, the senior. He hits 3rd down and 8. Defenders with it. 11-10 left to play, 3rd quarter. Dordt leading 20-17. Cade McDaniel, the quarterback. He's got Trojan behind him. Back to pass is McDaniel. McDaniel is going to pass, intended for Bolden, and it's intercepted at the 41-yard line. No, they say the ball hit the ground, and the Jamestown player, that's going to be costly.
Oh, that's really bad by Jamestown. They were going to get the ball with great field position. This is going to be a 1st down for the Dordt offense. Keep this drive going.
Herschel Jefferson thought he had the interception, and he's going to take the long jog across the field, and he's going to have to talk to a very unhappy coach, and I would imagine he would rather be anywhere but having to do that, because he's going to be called for an unsportsmanlike conduct. And I'm thinking at that point the official's going to give him a certain amount of rope, because, I mean, you're going to give him the leash.
Sure.
It's an emotional play, but he just went a little too far with it, and that leash got pulled. And the official emphatically saying that it was incomplete.
Yeah, and I think he would have been okay except for the spike. When he threw the ball down, it wasn't the jumping up or down or the yelling, it was the spike. And
officials are aware of time, situation, game, how close it is, all that stuff, and they adjust for that, and as long as you don't say any of the magic words, you're probably going to be just fine.
Right.
But he gets called for the penalty, the 15-yard penalty on the unsportsmanlike conduct. And it's going to 7-yard pickup now on the play for the defenders and Brendan Piper, and new life for the defenders. Second down and 3.
Yeah, and a huge break for the Dordt defenders because we were going to be kicking out of our own end zone against the wind. That's when Jamestown has had success. Good field position. Now we keep the drive going and hopefully burn a lot more clock. At
the time, I was going to say, you know what, that's almost better than a punt because I think it probably covered more ground than a punt would. Pass completed to Eli Bolden. Bolden inside the 40 down to the 38-yard line, and the Dordt defenders with another first down. So Eli Bolden, and something has clicked for Eli Bolden in the last 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, and we've known, and Eli has shown it in spurts throughout his career at Dordt University. He has the ability to make big plays, and he's been doing it the last 2 weeks.
McDaniel runs option to the right, pitches it, and gets it to Piper. Piper all the way down to near the 30-yard line. Gain of 7 on the play. Gain of 6, we'll call it. It's going to be second down and 4, and it wasn't picture perfect. It was not textbook, but he got the ball out to Piper, and Piper picks up 6 yards on the play.
Yeah, and again, that's where Jamestown has had some success against the option, is really slow playing that, forcing the late pitch. I think Cade just has to press it a little bit more and could make some good things happen.
McDaniel trying to get to the corner, and he is forced out of bounds after the ball bounces off of the turf, and it bounced right back up to him. Looked like he was going to go up the middle and very near a first down. It looks like he got it. You're right.
Great job by making something happen there.
He's playing with a little more confidence. I thought last week at Concordia probably his most confident game of the season so far. Now the numbers didn't always bear it out, but he was willing to do in a game what they've been seeing a lot of him in practice. Now we see a special situation. Tompkins is going to take the snap. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Pass completed to Heisman. Heisman to the 20, to the 15, to the 10. 5 touchdown defenders. Tompkins.
Yeah, they get in a situation where Jamestown is thinking, they split out the quarterback. Got McDaniel split out here to the right. Got your receiver in the backfield. They must be running the ball, right? Throw the ball out to Heisman out there. Blocked really good out front by Eli Bolden to get him in the end zone.
And I will take what I said about Brandon Tompkins. He looked like a quarterback there delivering the ball. Earlier in the half, they had the option pass for him, and that one did not fare as well. Point after is up and through, and the Dordt defenders with a 10-point lead, 27-17, 8:51 left to play here in the third quarter. And Chase Tompkins has now caught a pass for a touchdown, thrown for a touchdown pass. All he needs for the trifecta is a rushing touchdown. He got that last week against Concordia.
Hopefully somebody's in Coach Penner's ear, because we got to get him that all in one ball game, right? So we got to see that here today.
Last year against Jamestown, Levi Jungling, I think, scored 5. And he pulled that off. He had a pass for a touchdown. He received one, and he had a rushing touchdown as well. So we'll see if Tompkins can do that. And Tompkins becoming a player that Dordt's relying on more to make those plays.
Yeah, just some of those guys just have it. Good athletes. Well, it tells you a little bit if you even line them up at quarterback and have them throw the ball, because not everybody can do that. And having the wherewithal to get the ball out clean, still not an easy throw. He made it and ended up great for the defenders.
A short kick taken at the 32-yard line. I think I said Brandon Tompkins. Too many names in the Rolodex. Chase Tompkins. And it'll be first down and 10 for the Jimmies at their own 32-yard line. And Dordt's tried a little bit of everything on the kickoffs. And this one a short kick, and I think they were hoping for, and they got it. Fair catch called for at the 33-yard line. And kicking off into the wind, I guess you've got to make those decisions. And the Dordt defenders now send the defense onto the field. Jamestown they need an answer here.
Yeah, and really the only place where the wind is affecting the game is the kicking game. I don't think it's affecting either quarterback throwing the ball, but the kick game is definitely affected by the wind.
8:50 left to go in the third. Dordt with a 10-point lead. Torgerson's going to try to run for it. And Torgerson escorted out of bounds. And that is Abe Stace coming up to make the play and force him out of bounds. Torgerson actually just gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. It's going to be second down and 10. Pretty good defense that time by the defenders. I thought Torgerson had some room to run, but he just gets back to the line of scrimmage is all.
Yeah, forcing him to run toward his sideline, and he went a long ways for no gain.
Torgerson now, the left-hander, turns, hands, and gives it off to Hammett. Hammett, 8-yard gain on the play. It's going to be third down and 2. And for the defenders, they got off of the field in this position. It was a different down and yard situation, but third down and 2. See if Dordt can get their defense to come up with a stop. That'd be a huge momentum shifter here if they could get a stop.
For sure.
Third down and 2. Torgerson looking to the sideline. Isaiah Roebuck over to the near side. Send a man in motion. That's Collins. Torgerson back to pass, and Torgerson underthrows it. Had a man open, would have been a first down intended for Roebuck. That's going to set up fourth down and 2. And the Jimmies will send Isaac Miles onto the field. And the Dordt defense, a 3 and out. You'll take that against this Jamestown team.
Yeah, absolutely. They've had some success, especially when they've had the wind at their back. So forcing the punt here, get the ball back into the defender's offense's hands.
Concordia back in front of Midland, 24-17. Mount Marty still leading Doane 13-6. They're in the fourth quarter already. A spiraling kick, and it's taken by Tompkins at the 10. Tompkins trying to race to the edge, got a block, and the flag's going to come in late. I thought he got away with it, but they're going to whistle Connor Dodd, I believe, for a block in the back, and this return coming back, and not that it was Tompkins made the most of it, but this one's going to be coming back from the point of that illegal block at the 12-yard line.
Yeah, I think, on the play, through the hands up, trying to get away with a little bit of a push in the back, but when you still initiate contact, instead of just running with the coverage guy, probably the correct call, but yeah, it backs up the offense, and hopefully we can pick up a first down or 2 and at least burn some clock.
7:25 left to go in the third quarter. Dordt leading 27-17, and the offense had a 95-yard drive on their last possession. Similar situation here, starting out at their 6-yard line. Now they were helped out by an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. That gave them some breathing room after it looked like they were going to be forced to punt. Handoff up the middle, Piper the ball carrier, and Piper picks up positive yardage, picks up a couple on the play. It's going to be second down and 8. Clock winding down, 7 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. Dordt leading 27-17. Dordt's had a couple of 10-point leads. An opportunity to build on it here. So Chase Tompkins back in at quarterback. Tompkins doing a little bit of everything today. Pass is complete to Heisman. Heisman forced out of bounds, picked up another first down. Okay, so you're a coach. You're a coach, and the personnel is different. It's something new that you've not prepared for. What are you doing on the sideline to try and counteract it?
Well, I think they're just trying to adjust, and unfortunately, I'm not sure they would line up any differently defensively who we had at quarterback, but the fact that we're able to get the ball out there in space and get some positive yards has been big.
McDaniel completes it to Knopf at the midfield. He's to the 50, to the 40, to the 35, 30, 25, and he's forced out of bounds inside the 25-yard line. Cade McDaniel completes the pass, and the Dordt defenders, and as you said, the wind affecting the kicking game, but that did not affect that throw whatsoever. And a first down for the defenders to the 25-yard line. So Cade McDaniel with a pass completion.
Yeah, and Jamestown probably thinking, oh, Dordt's going to try to just use clock and run the ball. And McDaniel's throwing the ball really well today, efficient with the pass play, throwing for a good percentage and hitting our open wide receivers downfield.
2nd down and 8 for the defenders. Pickup of 2 by Brendan Piper. Well, if you think Dordt's going to use clock, you don't know Coach Penner that well, because he loves to quick strike if he can. Pass completed over to Bolden. Bolden bobbles it, maintains control of it, and he is forced out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Eli Bolden with the pass completion. Eli, I think he's got 6 catches already today. I'm going to take a peek at our stats.
Yeah, and he does a good job after the reception of getting probably more yardage than probably should have on the play.
Handoff, and that is running back from Galva, Iowa, Preston McCoy. Been a while since we've called Preston's name, but getting into the game and close to a 1st down. And now Jamestown's going to call a timeout as Dordt went hurry up at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be 4th down and less than a yard. So we've got a timeout on the field. Timeout charge to the Jamestown Jimmies. Let's take a 1-minute break. This timeout is brought to you by Casey's Bakery. Find your favorite bakery products at caseysbakery.com.
At Premier Communications, we're all about connection. Connecting you to all the entertainment, work, and family you love with our phone, internet, cable TV, and tech support services. And now, that connection has gotten even faster with internet speeds up to 1 gig. Experience the next level of connection with Premier Communications. Visit us online at mypremieronline.com or call toll-free 800-741-8351. Premier Communications. Looking ahead.
Cade McDaniel, your quarterback. Dordt facing 4th down and short. Handoff McCoy. McCoy got the 1st down. My vantage point, he got it past the 15. Line judge racing in from the near sideline. Looks like he agrees with me. And it's 1st down and 10 for the defenders at the 15-yard line. 4:43 and counting left to play in this 3rd quarter. Defensive changes for the Jimmies. They got 11 on the field. Yep. I think they do. McDaniel passes out to Heisman. Heisman pops up into the air, incomplete. It's going to set up 2nd down and 10. 2nd down and 10. So the Jimmies trying to force Dordt to kick a field goal at this point. This one's slipping away unless they can get a stop. Dordt with a touchdown can make it a 3-score game. McDaniel pass is tipped into the air, incomplete, intended for for Jaden Heisman. That's going to bring up 3rd down and 10. So the defenders now, this would be into the wind as well, field goal attempt. So you're looking at a plus 30-yard field goal attempt. If you elect to play it that way, it's going to be 3rd down and 10 at the 15 right now for Dordt. McCoy in the backfield. Bolden to the near side. Heisman to the far side. Let's see if they try to get it to Eli Bolden, make a play. Back to pass, McDaniel. McDaniel goes to Bolden, and Bolden unable to get to it. Underthrown, incomplete. That's going to bring up 4th down. And the defenders will send the kicking team onto the field. And it'll be the 3rd field goal attempt for Fulton Gunderson.
Yeah, and Bolden drew a little extra attention there on that play. Boy, we had a couple Jamestown defenders near him, so it would have been a tough play for McDaniel. And probably locked in a little bit too soon there. Had a chance probably to go the wide side of the field.
33-yard field goal attempt into the wind, and it is just through. Just drops it over the crossbar. And Fulton Gunderson with his third field goal of the day. And the Dordt defenders take a 30-17 lead. 30-17 our score. We have kickoff coming up in 1 minute. You're listening to KIHK and the Dordt Media Network.
We understand how complex the financial landscape can be to navigate. Our goal is to free up your hands so that you can focus on what is most important in life.
As our a fair catch called for at the 33-yard line as we resume play. You're listening to KIHK and the Dordt Media Network. It's Jamestown football at their own 33-yard line, first down and 10, and still a lot of football left to be played this afternoon. 4:07 remaining here in the third quarter. Dordt leading by a couple of scores. Jamestown still right in it, though. Handoff up the middle. And Sam Andrews on the tackle. Not much there that time for the Jamestown running back, and that's a new running back in for the Jimmies. It's Chris Saylor. Saylor, 5'11", 202 pounds. He's from Jamestown, North Dakota. Hometown kid. Second down and 9 for the Jimmies. Cade Torgerson with his team trailing by 13. Fulton Gunderson, 3 made field goals this afternoon. Passes picked off by Jungling. Jungling, the right man, in the right spot as he picks it off as it's deflected up into the air. And when you hang around long enough, good things will happen. And Dan Jungling that time with his 5th interception of the season.
Yeah, good ball skills, being in the right place at the right time. Receiver just didn't secure it initially, and ball pops up in the air, and Jungling was there to make the play.
Pass was picked off. Jungling returns it to the 36-yard line, and the defenders can really take a stranglehold on this one here with Cade McDaniel. McDaniel has Large and Dodd on the right side of the line. Handoff. No, keeping it as McDaniel. McDaniel to the 30, 25, 20, 15, and he steps out of bounds. Cade McDaniel down to the 15-yard line, and that's a Dordt University first down.
Yeah, and doing some different things in the backfield, little window dressings, get some motion, some different guys in the pitch position there. McDaniel does a great job of tucking it upfield, finding the run lane, and getting good positive yards.
McDaniel with a 22-yard run on the play. He's nearing 100 rushing yards. Handoff up the middle. This is Connor Dodd. Dodd all the way down to the goal line. It'll be first and goal to go for the defenders with 2:48 left to go in the third. Dordt leading 30-17 and trying to put this one out of reach. Trying to go up by 3 scores. Hearn, hand, give to Dodd. Dodd into the end zone. Touchdown, defenders. Connor Dodd, the freshman from Hartley, Iowa, with the 1-yard touchdown run. And the Dordt defenders lead at 36-17, pending the point after try. Fulton Gunderson on to attempt the point after. Blade Coons, the holder. And the snap back to Coons on the way. Snap is down, kick is up, and the kick is through. Fulton Gunderson perfect on the day. 3 for 3 on field goals. And for 4 for 4 on point after tries. And the Dordt defenders lead it now 37-17. Let's take a 1-minute break. You're listening to KIHK and the Dordt Media Network. Van Veldhuizen, a sky-high kickoff. Fair catch called for at the 31-yard line. And it's first down and 10 for the Jimmies at their own 31-yard line, and that has proven to be the most effective kickoff for the defenders here this afternoon. A couple of short kicks that fair catch called for, and they're getting decent field position, but not the explosive big plays.
Yeah, and just taking away what really hurt you in the first half, right? And now that we're kicking into the wind here this quarter, you're not going to get touchbacks, so you might as well force them to fair catch it and live with this field position.
Cade Torgerson back to pass under pressure. Throw complete, 35-yard line. And not much there. Again, a 5 on the play on the completion to the far side. So Torgerson was commenting during the break. He has attempted just 13 passes so far today. He's completed 8 of them. But I would imagine here, Jamestown trailing by multiple scores. They're going to be forced to throw the ball a little bit more here over the next quarter and 2 minutes. Torgerson back to pass. No, hands it off. This is Hammett. Hammett picks up a first down. Hutting on the tackle along with Abe Stace. And that's a first down for the Jimmies at their own 41-yard line. First down and 10 for the Jimmies at their own 41. Well, other than the kick returns, Dordt has stayed away from allowing any real explosive plays for the Jimmies.
Yeah, and I guarantee you defensive staff is telling the secondary, hey, just don't give up the big one, right? Really force Jamestown to earn points here the last 16, 17 minutes.
Cade Torgerson sacked on the play. Eric Gustafson and Vanderberg on the tackle.
Well, this is really playing into Dordt's hands right now, forcing Jamestown to throw the ball and throw the ball downfield. You know, leaving 7 guys in coverage and just rushing 4 with a very good pass rushing front 4. They're getting to Torgerson and making life really difficult.
Second down and 7. Handoff, and the running back gets all the way back to the original line of scrimmage. And out to the 44-yard line. Short of the first down by 7 yards. It'll be third down and 7. Jamestown, I'd imagine, thinking about trying to get this in potentially 2 plays. They're at their own 44. They need Dordt's 49 for a first down. Under a minute left to play in the quarter. Dordt leading 37-17. 37-17 our score. Torgerson back to pass. Looking right, rolling right, throws back against his body, and the pass.
Yeah, I think the receiver might have caught the ball, but I think he was laying with his legs out of bounds, and so the official correctly waved it incomplete.
Yeah, I was waiting for the indication, and I lost the official that was closest to the play. I was looking on both ends of the play for an indication. Didn't see it. Now Jamestown, I'm a little surprised with this. Punting. Got the wind at their back, so maybe you're hoping to pin Dordt deep. I mean, you're playing that game at this point, but 16 seconds left to go in the quarter.
Right.
Down by 3 scores. Miles on to punt. And he gets it away. Tompkins lets it roll into the end zone. That'll be a touchback. Dordt will have it first down and 10 at their own 20-yard line. So the defenders will get it back. 9 seconds remaining in the quarter. So the defenders in the driver's seat now. They're pitching a shutout here in the second half, leading 37-17. This was a 2017 ball game at halftime.
Yeah, and on the punt, getting the touchback, Tompkins does a good job of letting the ball sail over his head and
called for the fair catch. The Jamestown players, I don't know if that played into it at all, but they did not. They were nowhere near getting there to down the ball. And Cade McDaniel tackled for a loss on the play. It's going to be a loss of 7 on the play. That's the last play of the third quarter. And the Dordt defenders with a 37-17 lead at the end of 3. We'll be back with the fourth quarter of play in 1 minute.
Experience-based,
relational,
inclusive. It's not just criminal justice, it's criminal justice through like the Christian perspective.
critical thinking, more than just criminal justice.
Applicable to all aspects of your life. You get the Christian aspect and how that looks in the real world and how to deal with difficult people, but then you also get how to help these people and help them get back up on their feet.
Real world.
Realistic.
Involved. You get the hands-on experience where we get to go on field trips. I really enjoyed going to Sioux City for the training simulator. And it was also a good time going to Chick-fil-A after, so.
Well, we've got a few updates for you in terms of scores from around the conference, and we'll get to those in just a little bit. Dordt facing second down and long. Rosenbaum keeps it himself, and he gets it out to the 18-yard line. Looks like it's going to be third down and 12 here. Scores from the conference. Northwestern leading Briarcliff 49-0. No surprise there. Morningside over Dakota Wesleyan 63-7. Midland has taken the lead on Concordia 31-24. Mount Marty and Doane are tied 13-13. McDaniel back in at quarterback for the defenders. He's going to roll right. Pass completed to Eli Bolden to the 32-yard line, and that's a Dordt first down. So Eli Bolden continuing his fine afternoon. He's got 6 catches this afternoon, and he has over 100 yards of receiving offense.
Yeah, great job there by Bolden of pushing the defensive back past the first down marker and securing the catch to convert.
Preston McCoy on the carry, picks up 3 on the play. Also, the Dordt women's soccer team leading Hastings 1-0. They're now in the second half there. Defender women trying to pull off a mild upset there. Back to pass is McDaniel. McDaniel looking over the middle. McDaniel for Large, and Large was held on the play. We had a pretty good view on that one, and Hayden Large unable to shake free from the linebacker who went with him. It's going to be third down and 7. Third down and 7. Dordt leading 37-17. 2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left for the defenders. And McDaniel rolling left. Pass overshot him. Would have had a first down. Intended on the play for Hayden Large out near the 45-yard line. And the defenders will be forced to punt for the first time here in the second half. Dordt leading 37-17, 13:40 remaining in regulation. Well, the defenders positioning themselves well here. And now it becomes just a matter of don't give up the big explosive play, it feels like. Coons gets it, puts the left foot into it, spirals it. It's taken at the 30 to the 35-40. And that's the same guy who returned the kickoff earlier. And on the return that time for the Jimmies, that was number 1, Parker Hager.
Yeah, and he does a good job of catching that punt on a full sprint and being able to get past that first wave of coverage guys and gets down the sideline for a big special teams play again by Jamestown. Really, their special teams, their bright spot today.
That's what has kept it relatively close. So first down and 10 at the 31-yard line. First down and 10 for Torgerson at the 31-yard line. Hands it off to Hammett. Hammett out near the numbers, picking up 3 on the play. It's going to be second down and 7. 13:15 left to play in the contest. Jamestown has been content to run the ball much more than I thought they would here this afternoon.
Yeah, and to be sticking with it this late in the game, down by 20. Yeah, and part of it is the defense that Dordt is playing, almost daring Jamestown to throw the ball.
And Hammett picks up 4 yards on the play. It's going to be third down and short. And I don't know if I'm Dordt on defense. I'm all right with this.
Yeah, keep doing what you've been doing. By Jamestown running the ball, obviously the clock keeps moving. When they do throw, Dordt has been great in coverage and great getting pressure on Torgerson. So just want to, force them to keep trying to run the ball and keep using clock.
To 12 minutes to 32 seconds. The play clock to 40 seconds. It'll start on my whistle. Thank you.
So third down and 2. They'll get the clock reset to 12:32. Torgerson has 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Torgerson looks to the sideline, plenty of time. And Torgerson, inside handoff, and that's Hammett. Hammett, the ball carrier, and Hammett to the 16-yard line. That's another first down. But for the Jimmies, they must get points here, trailing by 20. They trail 37-17. Down by 3 scores, actually down by 3 touchdowns. So field goal doesn't help them a whole lot at this point.
Right, you're going to see them, they're going to pull out all the stops, 4 down territory. They got to end up this drive in the end zone.
Handoff, far side, Carlos Julian, and Julian, that play stretches out. And another tackle for Abe Stays. Gain of 2 on the play. It's second down and 8. Second and 8 for the Jimmies at the Dordt 15. Clock continuing to run. We approach the 11-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Dordt leading by 20. 15 seconds on the play clock. Not much urgency for the Jimmies. So Jamestown Torgerson turns, hands, gives to Julian, and Julian not much there, and Huttinga trying to strip it free.
Yeah, where I would think, Mike, is I can understand keeping the ball on the ground. They're doing some decent things in the run game, but you would think that they would pick up tempo and just take up less clock between plays. But so far, they've been really deliberate and keeping the ball on the ground and using plenty of clock. This is working to Dordt's advantage, I think.
Third down and 8. Back to pass is Torgerson. Torgerson, pass battered up into the air, incomplete. And that'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, you see hear some chirping in the Dordt crowd. Colton Vandenberg was tackled on that play on his pass rush, but yeah, sometimes officials miss them, and fortunately it's an incomplete pass. And
4th down and 8 on the way.
4th down, you bet.
And Jamestown, as we said, they need touchdowns. Field goals don't help them right now. Torgerson directing traffic, back to pass. Dordt brings 4 on the rush. Pass is incomplete. Daniel Jungling on the coverage. Pass intended for Madian. And Dordt will take over on downs. 1st down and 10. 1st and 10 for the defenders. Jamestown sends the defense onto the field, and the Dordt defenders offense putting together a solid afternoon this afternoon. 323 yards of passing offense, 169 on the ground. Cade McDaniel, 17 of 28 passing for 297 of those yards. And the defenders staying with McDaniel at quarterback. He's going to run option, and McDaniel keeps it himself. He's to the 25-30, 35-40, and he stays in bounds at the 46-yard line. Jaden Heisman with a downfield block. And the Dordt defenders, Cade McDaniel now with nearly 100 yards of rushing offense net. You got to factor in a couple of sacks that he took as well, but he's up around 100 yards rushing, so he's put together a nice afternoon.
Yeah, he's been very efficient in the pass game, running the option really, really well this afternoon. Made some good decisions. Tucking it here and running for big gain, but at other times getting the pitch out to running backs who are doing some damage as well.
Jamestown down by 20. They need the football back, and they need it badly. McDaniel throws it. That'd be a pass completion actually to Welland. And so Nick Welland on the receiving end of that. I believe that was a forward pass for a pass completion for McDaniel. So Cade McDaniel came into the game averaging 3.9 yards per rush. He's been better than that here this afternoon. McDaniel turns, hands, and this is Piper. Piper, the ball carrier, picks up a 1st down near the 40, and they'll blow it dead at the 40-yard line. 1st down and 10 for the defenders, and the clock continuing to move. 9:25 left to play in the contest. So Dordt with the lead. First down and 10 for the defenders. And the Dordt soccer team has added a second goal. They lead now 2-0 with 25 minutes left to go on the pitch here in Sioux Center. Rolling right is McDaniel. Cade throws back against the grain. Pass completed to Dodd. Dodd inside the 20. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Connor Dodd. His second touchdown of the afternoon. Well, what is it? You're not freshmen anymore at this point of the season. You've been in the system now for 2 months, and seems like some young players gaining a lot of confidence here in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, you mentioned, obviously Dodd there on that play, but Chase, the plays that Chase Tompkins has made today, seeing a lot of new faces on the field, making a difference.
Blade Coons will get a pat on the head from Fulton Gunderson there as Coons picked it up out of the turf and put it back down for a good placement. And the Dordt defenders now lead at 44-17. 44-17, defenders leading after the touchdown and the point after. And we'll keep it right here. We're just fine on breaks, I believe. So we'll keep it right here, make sure we don't miss any of the action. We also want to remind you that our pregame and postgame shows this season brought to you by Wireless World, your local Verizon authorized retailer. They have 7 locations in Northwest Iowa. Visit them at wirelessworld.com. Sylvan Veldhuizen will be kicking off with the wind. And you take away that kick return for a touchdown at the end of the first half, and the defenders really have dominated this game.
They really have, yeah. The kick return at the end of the half, you thought that might be the momentum swing. Hey, let's be realistic, too. What a huge play on that unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yep.
Keeping that first defender drive going in the second half. That's
a big play.
That's a huge play.
That turns that's a 3-point ball game at that point, and Dordt's punting into the wind.
Exactly.
Van Veldhuizen, a line drive kick, and that'll go through the end zone. Touchback for the Jimmies, and they'll start at their own 25-yard line. Poorest field position to start a drive in the second half for Jamestown. So Dordt with it, Jamestown with it, 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line, 8:55 left to play in the contest. Dordt leading Jamestown 44-17. And for the Jimmies, Cade Torgerson. He's got Carlos Julian in the backfield with him. Back to pass, Torgerson gets it out quickly. Pass is complete to Madian. Madian, short gain on the play. Picks up 5. It's going to be, 4. 2nd down and 6. When Jamestown has made completions, the Dordt defense has been pretty solid.
Yeah, really forcing the underneath throws. Safety's doing a great job of staying over the top, the deepest receiver. Not having a lot of time for the quarterback to throw the ball. So typically it's quickly out of his hands. This last play, he scrambles for some positive yards, but he just doesn't have time to stand back and let deeper routes develop because of the good pressure that we're getting out of our front 4.
Torgerson scrambles for a yard or 2, and that's it. It's going to be 3rd down and long. He's escorted out of bounds by Doug Walls. So Walls making sure he doesn't pick up much. Back to passes Torgerson, again pressured, throws underneath, pass is complete, and near the 1st down marker on the second effort, and it looks like he got it. Grant Hickson on the coverage, also Drew Dom, and that's a 1st down for the Jimmies. I believe that was Carlos Julian out of the backfield. Nope. Check that. That is Micah Madian again. Madian averaging 9.5 yards per carry. He had 9.5 yards per catch. He had 55 catches this season coming into the game. Pass underneath to Ryan Collins, and there's nothing there for Ryan Collins. And the Dordt defense making the tackle immediately. It's going to be short, 2nd down and 7 after the 3-yard gain on the play.
Yeah, doing a great job, like I said, getting into their drops, getting depth with their drops, and rallying to make the tackles on the underneath throws.
Back to pass is Torgerson, and the pass is batted away. And knocking it down was Jonathan Carter. Carter knocking it down. It's going to bring up 4th down. Beg your pardon, 3rd down. 3rd down and 7. Personnel changes for the defenders. Obvious passing down here. Cooper Hidalgo in now at defensive end. You got Gustafson as well. Dordt bringing a couple linebackers up to the line of scrimmage, and they'll come on the blitz. Pass is complete to the 40. Aaron Van Hofwagen on the coverage, and that's a 1st down for the Jimmies. So they move the sticks on the 3rd down completion. It's 1st down and 10 at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, just a back shoulder throw, kind of underthrown. Receiver does a good job of coming back and making the reception. Van Hofwagen really in pretty good position against that pass.
6:49 left to go in the contest. Jamestown completion to the sideline, stepping out of bounds after the completion. That is, I thought it was Ethan Gross, but it is not. Instead, it is Dawson Schmidt. Schmidt, a freshman, Watertown, South Dakota. He makes that grab. They sneak him onto the field. Back to pass Torgerson. Torgerson flush from the pocket, and he's going to be dropped. Tackled by the defenders. Who got to him? That's Gustafson. Gustafson got it. Eric Gustafson on the tackle. It's going to be 3rd down and 5 at the 35. 3rd and 5 at the 35. Eric Gustafson after the solo tackle. Cade Torgerson back to pass. Torgerson rolling left. And he's going to throw to the sideline. Pass is complete. And that's enough for a first down to the 26-yard line. So the Jimmies moving the ball here, but much the same as the last drive. They need to get into the end zone, and in the meantime, they've given up another score. 5.5 left to go in the game. Dordt in the driver's seat, leading 44-17. Back to pass is Torgerson. Torgerson throws towards the end zone, and it is caught. Touchdown, Jimmies. The pass completion to Ryan Collins, and Collins gets in as J.C. Vanderkoy tried to knock it away. Ball made it through, and a touchdown for the Jimmies. They trail now 44-23 pending the point after.
Yeah, I think it was just missed time. The
looked like he had a play on it
at the end of the play, and ball snuck through, and actually really good concentration by the receiver to look it all the way into his hands.
Point after try is up and good. Dordt leads 44-24. 5:17 left to play here in the contest. Let's take a 1-minute break. You're listening to Dordt football on KIHK and watching on the Dordt Media.
As a bank that cares about supporting small businesses, American State Bank assisted hundreds of young entrepreneurs launch their first business. Starting a business can be complicated, even when it's just a lemonade stand. It's never too early to begin thinking towards your next project, and we'll be here to help make it go as smoothly as possible. Supporting entrepreneurs, no matter their age, it's what we do.
.5:17 left to go in regulation. Dordt brings 10 players up to within 10 yards of the kickoff. And the Jamestown Jimmies will go for the squib kick, and Lucas Huttinga will fall on top of it at the 30-yard line, and that's the danger of having that hands team, having everybody up there. It's a lot of turf to cover, but Lucas Huttinga turned and got back and covered it at the 30-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the defenders at their own 31-yard line.
Yeah, and just a good, smart play. Go back there, cover the ball. Don't try to pick it up and make something happen. Main job is just to ensure possession of the ball.
Rosenbaum in at quarterback, so Rosenbaum turns, fakes the handoff, keeps it himself to the 31-yard line and driven out of bounds. Back at the line of scrimmage, so no gain on the play for Zach Rosenbaum. It'll bring up 2nd down and 10. 2nd and 10. So 2nd down and 10 at the 31-yard line. Got new personnel for the defenders. Rosenbaum turns, hands, and gives it off. This is Dodd. Dodd to the 40, 45, and works his way up the sideline before he goes out of bounds at the 45-yard line. So Connor Dodd putting a little charge into the defenders here this afternoon. A couple of touchdowns already for him. And he gives Dordt good field, gets them across midfield into Jamestown territory at the 45-yard line. Evan Jordahl in the contest for the defenders. Aiden Platone over on the far side. You got Dodd in at running back along with Preston McCoy. Rosenbaum running the quarterback position. And Rosenbaum keeps it himself at the 45 down to the 41-yard line. And the defenders now facing 2nd down and 6. Nearly 4 minutes left to go in this contest. Dordt with it in hand, 44-24.
Looked like Rosenbaum lost a shoe on the play. Probably going to have to go to a Wildcat. I think McDaniel looked a little shaken up on his last touchdown pass. Nothing serious, I don't think, but a little bit dinged up. So you'll see Dordt in a Wildcat formation.
Anthony Trojan hands it off Connor Dodd. And Connor Dodd back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. And we have a timeout on the field charged to Jamestown. So timeout charged to the Jimmies. You are listening to KIHK and the Dordt Media Network. Let's take a 30-second break on KIHK. This timeout is brought to you by Casey's Bakery. Find your favorite bakery products at caseysbakery.com. Well, something that the Jamestown Jimmies must have seen on offense that they want to talk about, because they've got timeouts remaining, so they use their second timeout here. Dordt leading. They've got this one in hand, 44-24, with 3:33 left to go in the game. And we told you earlier Dordt was up 2-0. Hastings has responded. It's 2-2. So the Broncos not going to go silently this afternoon. They get a couple of quick ones. Dordt with a football. This is Tompkins. Tompkins going to line up at quarterback, and he is tackled after a short gain on the play. It's going to be 4th down, and Jamestown using another timeout to stop the clock, and they'll try to get the football back here with a little bit of time to work with. So another timeout on the field. You're listening to KIHK and the Dordt Media Network. Let's take another 30-second break on KIHK. Dordt facing 4th down and 4 on offense here. And I would be shocked if they don't go for it, and they will. Rosenbaum in at quarterback. Looks like he thinks they're a man short. And they'll get Connor Dodd in from the sideline. And now they are set with 11. 7 seconds on the play clock. Jamestown also getting someone on. And if they snap the football, you'd have 12 men on the field. And now a delay of game penalty. And so, yeah, with that late substitution with Dodd coming on the field.
Yeah, you got to give the defense time to react and make a substitution. That's
and they
kind of a
and they did. They brought a 12th man on, and he ran back off the field.
Ran back off. So, yeah, that's a tough one to take. Probably a chance where Dordt could have used the timeout, but being up with the score as it is, probably smart to punt it here.
Okay, Blade Coons with the punt goes through the end zone, and it's a touchback. And it'll be 1st down and 10 for the Jimmies, trailing by 20 with 3:18 remaining in regulation. So Dort's definitely in control here and just trying to close it out. Wrap up the home season next week against the Hastings Broncos, and then it's on the road to face Midland to end the season. Midland currently leading Concordia near the midpoint of the fourth quarter, 34-31. Morningside a 70-14 lead over Dakota Wesleyan. Pass completed down to the 32-yard line. That pass completed, I believe, to Justice. And it's Mount Marty leading Doane 27-16. That game's over. Mount Marty won it. Second win of the conference season for the Mount Marty Lancers. Back to pass. Torgerson pass over the middle is complete. Down to the 40-yard line. That's a first down for the Jimmies. And the Jimmies out of timeout, so they hustle up to the line of scrimmage. 40 seconds remain, 2:40 and counting. Back to pass. Torgerson pass underneath. And that time Vanderkoy there for the tackle. Forward progress to the 37-yard line. So second down and 7 now for the Jimmies at the 37-yard line. So second and 7. Jamestown threatening, still down 3 scores. We approach the 2-minute mark of this one. Back to pass is Torgerson. Pass to the middle, incomplete. Tanner Milliken there on the coverage. Intended over the middle for Madian. That'll bring up third down.
Yeah, just defensively, not giving up the big play. Force the underneath throws, rally, make the tackle, keep that clock moving, get out of this thing with the win.
Third down and 7. Dordt trying for their 5th win of the season. Currently 4-3. Said it a couple of weeks ago, 3rd place in the conference, still not out of the realm of possibilities. Pass to the sideline, incomplete. It's going to be 4th down. So 4th down and long for the Jimmies at the defender 37-yard line. 2:03 remaining in regulation. Dordt gets the football back here. They can take victory formation and finish it off. Jamestown out of timeouts. So 4th down and 7 here for the Jimmies. They need the Dordt 30-yard line for a first down. Dordt will send 4. Back to pass. Under pressure is Torgerson, and Torgerson caught for a sack. Gall, Gustafson, and Jessup Leakey chasing him down all the way back at the 45-yard line. That'll cut into the yards gained a lot. That's a loss of over 20 on the play.
Yeah, and how fitting for the defensive line to finish it off on that side of the ball. And now offensively, you can go to victory formation and put this one in the win column.
Under 2 minutes to go, 1:58 left to play actually. Rosenbaum is under center at the 46-yard line, so they gave him his forward progress to the 46. Rosenbaum takes a knee. That's 1. He'll have to take at least a couple more. And bring it down to under 1:15 on this one as the fans file out. I would imagine many of them headed over to the DeWitt for the volleyball match or to the soccer field for the conclusion of the women's game and the men's game to begin at about 4:15. So that women's game almost finished. It was 2-2 at last check. Rosenbaum up to the line of scrimmage. Gets the snap, takes a knee. And now he's just got to wait till there's under 40 seconds remaining and be able to take a knee one last time. Around the conference, Midland 34, Concordia 31. Morningside 70-14 over Dakota Wesleyan. Mount Marty over Doane 27-16. Northwestern over Briarcliff 56-7. That one's still got 3 minutes remaining in it. Going to try to find this update on the women's soccer score as well. And it's still 2-2. There's under 5 minutes to go, and that's the ball game. Dordt's going to move to 5-3 with the win here this afternoon over the Jamestown Jimmies. So let's take a 1-minute break, and we'll be back with the Wireless World postgame show right after this 1-minute timeout.
Hello fans of Defender Sports, hope you're enjoying the game whether you're a friend or family member of a player or coach or a fan of the university. These players and coaches have put in hours and hours of practice, and it shows. But going into each and every game, there's one more thing that every coach makes sure the team has, and that's a game plan. If these players and coaches are willing to put this much time into planning for a game, how much more important is putting together a game plan for your financial life? Now, the financial world continually becomes more complicated, but if you don't have either the time or the desire to spend hours upon hours learning and keeping up with the changing rules of the game in the financial world, and then figuring out how that applies specifically to your financial life, you don't have to do it alone. For over 40 years, we've been helping households to build their financial game plan upon all the things more important than finances, while being good stewards of the resources God has entrusted to their care. Because there's things in life more important than money, and none of them are things. I'm Tom DeYoung, financial planner and president of Money Concepts, the planning firm. Check us out on the web or social media. Check out our podcast at moneyconceptsradio.com or your favorite podcast app, or schedule a complimentary meeting to see how a financial game plan might benefit you. Enjoy the rest of the game, and remember to spend your most valuable resources, your time and your attention, on the things in life that matter more than money.
But the Defenders get a win this afternoon over the Jamestown Jimmies on Defender Days by a final of 44-24. And we will get to the highlights in just a little bit. But Kyle, I guess your thoughts on this afternoon's win for the Dordt Defenders over the Jimmies.
Yeah, good all-round victory for the Defenders this afternoon. You got Cade McDaniel playing probably his best ball game that I've seen him play. Playing with a lot of confidence, doing a great job, throwing with good percentage and efficiency, stretching the field a little bit, getting the ball downfield, seeing a senior leadership and Bolden making plays downfield, but getting some young guys involved in the pass game, but then also rushing for over 100 yards, I believe. So he played tremendously. But then defensively, just a good, solid ball game today, really. Guys up front getting good pressure, getting some sacks, and the guys in the secondary who, probably were challenged throughout the week after last week's ball game and giving up a lot of passing yards at Concordia, did a great job on the back end of, keeping the ball in front of them and for the most part not giving up long pass plays.
We thought things might shift at the end of the first half when the Defenders gave up a kick return for a touchdown that made it 20-17 at the time on the Parker Hager 95-yard return for a touchdown. But the Defenders established things in the third quarter. Chase Tompkins, a pass completion to Jaden Heisman for 26 yards with 8:51 left in the quarter. Then a field goal by Fulton Gunderson, his third of the day, to make it 30-17. And the Defenders, Connor Dodd, a 1-yard touchdown run with 2:40 left in the third to make it 36-17 and effectively put it out of reach. And Dordt helped by an untimely, unsportsmanlike conduct penalty by Jamestown. And those are the kind of things that you look back on and you say, man, what a big play, but you've got to take advantage of it.
You got to take advantage. We got the first down, got the 15-yard penalty, but you still had to make something happen after that. And the Dordt offense kind of came to life after that and made a lot of good plays. And you look at from the flip side, Jamestown's looking at that play as being really costly, and it was. But yeah, that's part of the development of a team, right? I mean, we probably saw that a number of years ago with the Dordt Defender teams trying to figure out how not to lose games, and that's where probably where this Jamestown team is right now. They've made some good improvement, but they have to do some of those little things better.
Let's go to the highlights, and we'll talk over the top of them just a little bit as well, but let's take a look at those highlights. And the first highlight, this is that pass completion from Tompkins to Jaden Heisman. Jaden Heisman ends up with a couple of catches for a touchdown, his second week in a row with a touchdown reception.
Yeah, I believe this is the interception off the bobbled ball, and Jungling comes up with it to really, almost seal it at that point, but definitely keep the momentum in Dort's favor.
Fifth interception of the season for Daniel Jungling, and there's Connor Dodd scoring the first of his 2 touchdowns this afternoon, and I'm thinking this might be the second one as McDaniel finding Dodd, and Dodd, there you saw a defensive back slip and broke a couple of tackles, kept the legs churning, and he gets into the end zone for a Dordt touchdown. And here's Jamestown's final score as Cade Torgerson, Dordt able to keep him under wraps for the most part this afternoon, but he was able to find Madian for a touchdown pass there, and that makes it the final of 44-24. Let's take a look at the final numbers for the defenders. Dordt, 30 first downs to 18 for the Jimmies. Dordt, 238 rushing yards, 370 passing yards, 600 total yards of offense this afternoon, 608 to be exact. Jamestown, 73 yards on the ground. They were hurt by some big losses on sacks, 193 yards passing. They ended up with 266 total yards of offense. Individually for Dordt, Cade McDaniel, 19 of 30 passing, 344 yards. He also ran for 102 yards on 17 carries. Brendan Piper, 16 carries for 68 yards. Connor Dodd, 4 carries for 39 yards. Eli Bolden, big game for the second week in a row. 6 receptions for 124 yards, averaging 20.7 yards per catch. Tompkins had 4 catches for 70 yards, and then you had 3 for Nick Wellen for 20 yards. Jaden Heisman and Hayden Large each had 2 catches for 34 and 19 yards, respectively. For Jamestown, Cade Torgerson, 19 of 30 passing, and ends up with 193 yards and 6 completions to Madian for 44 yards. On defense, leading tacklers for the defenders, the usual suspects: Abe Stace, 5 solo stops, Grant Hickson, 5 at corner, and Luke Huttinga with 4 solo and 4 assisted stops this afternoon. He also had a tackle for a loss. And I'm taking a look to see if we had what we had for sacks. Gall had 1 sack, Wieringa had sack, Gall had a sack assist, Colton Vandenberg ends up with 2 sack assists, and Eric Gustafson with a sack assist as well. So the defenders all totaled got to the quarterback, I think my math is correct, 3 times.
Yeah, it seemed like more than that,
It
but
did.
was a lot of good pressure in the backfield, and officially the 3 sacks.
Yeah. So the defenders now 5-3. Next week, it's the Hastings Broncos and the final home game of the regular season for the Dordt Defenders. I think that's going to do it for our broadcast this afternoon on the Dordt Media Network and on KIHK. We will get over to the DeWitt Gym, and we'll have a volleyball for you on KIHK and the Dordt Media Network in about 1 hour. For Kyle Achterhoff and the KIHK and Dordt Media Network crews, I'm Mike Biker. Have a good afternoon.